Chapter 617. As soon as the archaic wind god projection appeared, a huge primal chaos hand descended from the sky and slapped the 10,000-meter-tall archaic wind god projection into pieces. The incomparably violent wind elemental energy spread out in all directions. When the archaic wind god projection disappeared, a violent flame emerged from the void and spread towards Yangfeng's small world, as if to burn everything to ashes. The giant primal chaos hand reappeared, pointed its index finger at a bit of consciousness in the flame, and shattered it. Shocked by the primal chaos force, the violent flame turned into the purest fire elemental particles. Extremely dense earth elemental energy converged in the air, forming a 100-meter-tall primordial beast made entirely of stone, an earth ape of antiquity. The earth ape's figure fluttered, and it burrowed into the ground. Once the earth ape burrowed into the ground and hid, it would absorb the earth elemental particles in the small world. Perhaps after hundreds or thousands of years, a new earth ape would be born in the small world. The chaos giant hand grabbed the earth ape and squeezed it hard, causing it to explode. A copious amount of water elemental particles suddenly gathered and formed a 10,000-meter-long dragon whale that looks like it can devour everything. That chaos raised its hand and slapped the terrifying dragon whale, shattering it with a single strike. At that moment, wind, fire, water, and earth elemental particles were balanced, and the plane origin will in the small world absorbed the spiritual wind, fire, water, and earth elemental particles and grew stronger. The 100 billion inferior magic crystals hoarded in the small world crumbled at once, and a copious amount of life magic energy was absorbed by the plane origin will, which nourished the plane origin will and grew stronger. Yangfeng's small world began to shake, and the area of the small world began to expand frantically. As if it had a life of its own, the small world began to breathe, absorb the energy drifting in the space, and become stronger. The plane origin will of any complete plane would breathe, absorb the energy in the surroundings, and nourish the plane. It was precisely because of this that the level of a plane wasn't the same. Instead, it would grow and become stronger or weaker. A grade 4 plane is enough to give birth to an infinity warlock. However, the upper echelon of the battle demon sect isn't willing to stay in a grade 4 plane. One of the important reasons is that if the number of infinity warlocks in a grade 4 plane reaches a certain number, the plane will slowly decline, unable to bear the existence of those infinity warlocks. The 36 primary material planes like the Feisua plane, which are classified as grade 2 planes, can give birth to Holy Spirit Warlock rank powerhouses and Warlock Emperor rank existences. Of course, every time a Warlock Emperor rank existence is born, the plane will weaken for more than 10 million years. Only a grade 1 plane like the Tsangji plane can give birth to a peerless genius like the 8 Warlock Emperors and even give birth to the legendary Eternal Sovereigns within 10 million years. Even so, after the Tsangji plane gives birth to a Warlock Emperor, it will take tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years before it gives birth to another Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse. After an unknown amount of time, in a secret room, Yang Feng slowly opened his eyes, sensed the changes in his body, and showed a smile. Quasi-glorious Sun Warlock, I'm only one step away from advancing to a glorious Sun Warlock. Based on the analysis of the level 3 optical computer, Yang Feng has already clearly perceived that even if he doesn't do anything now, he will naturally promote to a glorious Sun Warlock in 3 years. Apart from the fact that warlocks who have formed a virtual world need to consume tens or even hundreds of times more cultivation resources than other warlocks, but they have a great advantage in breaking through bottlenecks. After Yang Feng implanted a semi-plane seed in the Great Warlock realm, he basically won't encounter any bottlenecks before advancing to the Bright World Warlock realm. Only when he breaks through to the Infinity Warlock realm from the Pinnacle Bright World Warlock realm may he encounter a great bottleneck. This is the strength of the strongest warlock path. Zhang Hanshan, Zhui Yifan, and Zhou Feng are all personal disciples of Battle Demon Sect's great elders, and they have already practiced cultivation to the Moonlight Warlock realm. But it is extremely difficult for them to break through to the glorious Sun Warlock realm. They may stay in the Moonlight Warlock realm for the rest of their lives. Huang Yihe has now become an Infinity Warlock, but only 2 of his personal disciples have glorious Sun Warlock rank cultivation bases. From this, it can be seen how difficult it is to advance to the glorious Sun Warlock realm. Yang Feng has practiced cultivation for less than 100 years, yet he can already advance to a glorious Sun Warlock. Once people learn of this, they will go crazy with jealousy. Yang Feng can naturally enter secluded cultivation until he advances to a glorious Sun Warlock. However, he took the initiative to stop practicing cultivation, because he found that because his cultivation speed is too fast, his soul force and state of mind can't keep up. If he advances to a glorious Sun Warlock now, it will take him several times or even dozens of times longer to promote to a Bright World Warlock in the future. Once you step into the Moonlight Warlock realm, you will be a Transcendent. But Moonlight Warlocks are just the lowest level of Transcendent, and can even be said to be the starting point of the Transcendent realm. Each of Great Cloud Dynasty's Moonlight 7 stars is a peerless genius with countless resources to support them and formed a virtual world. Like Yang Feng, they can break through to the glorious Sun Warlock realm without any pressure. But they still stay in the Moonlight Warlock realm for decades, or even 100 years, because they want to improve their soul force, cultivation base, and state of mind to the most perfect point, and then break through to the glorious Sun Warlock realm. Otherwise, when they attack the Bright World Warlock and Infinity Warlock realms, they will encounter huge obstacles. As soon as Yang Feng regained his clarity of mind, one piece of information after another poured into his eyes. When Yang Feng is in secluded cultivation, unless it is a matter of life and death or news of the Andrak plane's survival, the chip won't alert Yang Feng and interrupt his cultivation. Yang Feng showed a smile and issued an order. Bai Yuxian wants to see me. Interesting, let her go to the Nether Dragon Hall and wait for me. Yang Feng first went to a hot spring bath, where he rested and relaxed for 2 hours. Then, served by a group of beautiful women, he put on his clothes and went to the Nether Dragon Hall. Yang Feng came to the golden throne in the Nether Dragon Hall, sat down, and looked at Bai Yuxian. He saw that Bai Yuxian, who has been waiting there for 2 hours, still has a calm expression on her face, showing no signs of anger. Clearly, she is very good at maintaining her composure. Bai Yuxian smiled sweetly, and a complicated glint streaked past her beautiful eyes. Greetings, young Master Lei Ming. Congratulations on unifying the Ligui province. Prior to this, Bai Yuxian just regarded Yang Feng as a pawn that could be used, a small pawn that could stir up the situation in the Ligui province. But now this small pawn has become the master of the Ligui province, a bigwig that even Great Cloud Dynasty has to take seriously. With the current strength of the Ligui province, except for the lack of infinity warlocks and secret treasures, it is even stronger than the Tai-I sect of the 10 great sects. As the person in charge of the Zhangji Plain, Yang Feng's status is naturally extremely honorable, even more so than that of many holy sons of the 10 great sects. Yang Feng responded, "It was just a fluke." "Miss Bai, what brings you here?" Bai Yuxian spoke with a solemn expression. "Young Master Lei Ming, I hope that you can issue a statement on behalf of the Undying Mountain of submitting to Great Cloud Dynasty. My Great Cloud Dynasty will also bestow the Ligui province to your Undying Mountain and make it your fief. Moreover, I can bestow you the title of Hereditary Marquis of my Great Cloud Dynasty, and you will forever rule the Ligui province. Great Cloud Dynasty has just driven away the 10 great sects, and Marshal Jing was besieged by the 10 great sects' infinity warlocks. Countless forces are eyeing Great Cloud Dynasty covetously. Great Cloud Dynasty must be having a hard time right now, right? The Ligui province is now under the direct control of the Undying Mountain. Why should the Undying Mountain submit to Great Cloud Dynasty? As for me becoming a hereditary marquis of Great Cloud Dynasty and ruling the Ligui province forever, that's even more impossible. At the time, the 10 great sects and the 8 great families assisted the Bai family in defeating countless powerful enemies and establishing the Great Cloud Dynasty together. I remember that the first emperor of the Great Cloud Dynasty also promised to enfeoff the 18 greater provinces to the 10 great sects and the 8 great families. He also promised to never interfere with the fiefs. But now, where are the 10 great sects? Yang Feng said with a mocking smile. Bai Yuxian responded with a bright smile, "You're right, Great Cloud Dynasty is indeed at its weakest now. However, no matter how weak Great Cloud Dynasty is, it is still far stronger than your Ligui province. Although the Ligui province is rich in resources, but it also lacks a lot of resources. Moreover, the Ligui province has a major weakness, that is, it cannot practice cultivation to the Infinity Warlock realm. Young Master Lei Ming, doesn't your Undying Mountain want to have a foothold in Great Cloud Dynasty? As long as your Ligui province surrenders to my Great Cloud Dynasty, my Great Cloud Dynasty will grant you a fiefdom and let you build a sect and establish a sect there. Moreover, young Master Lei Ming, if you become a Marquis of Great Cloud Dynasty, then no matter which plane you go to, you'll be treated like a greater aristocrat. Do you want to stay in the Ligui province forever? I heard that you are a peerless genius who aspires to become a warlock emperor. But no warlock emperor has ever succeeded by staying in a corner and working behind closed doors. If the Undying Mountain becomes a part of Great Cloud Dynasty, you will naturally have the qualification to participate in the Secret Realm Trial by Fire controlled by Great Cloud Dynasty. Bai Yuxian analyzed the pros and cons in an orderly manner and spoke frankly with fervor. She clearly stated the pros and cons of the Undying Mountain submitting to Great Cloud Dynasty. Chapter 618. Yang Feng pondered for a while, then flicked a finger, and a piece of jade flew towards Bai Yuxian. As expected of the Merak star of the moonlight 7 stars, you're really eloquent. I practice a special secret method that requires a lot of rare ores. If the Great Cloud Dynasty can give me these ores, then I will persuade my father to let the Undying Mountain submit to the Great Cloud Dynasty. As Bai Yuxian said, if Yang Feng's ambition is only to dominate a region, then he can stay in the Ligui province. But if he wants to become a warlock emperor, or even an eternal above warlock emperors, then staying in the Ligui province is not advisable. The Great Cloud Dynasty is extremely vast and has endless secrets. The Battle Demons sect controls one of the 36 greater provinces, and even the Battle Demons sect hasn't fully analyzed the secrets of the Battle Demon province. Bai Yuxian took the piece of jade and looked at it carefully, and then frowned slightly. The piece of paper is filled with all kinds of rare ores that Yang Feng needs to upgrade Shizu technology. Even the Great Cloud Dynasty is short of these top rare ores. Bai Yuxian said, young Master Lei Ming, the secret treasure ores in this piece of jade are very rare in the Great Cloud Dynasty. Besides, many of them are unheard of. We can't take out all of them. Yang Feng said calmly, can the Great Cloud Dynasty take out those ores? Let me see your sincerity. After plundering the resources of the Ligui province, Yang Feng found a lot of materials needed to upgrade the Shizu stronghold to level 4. He also found several kinds of ores needed for the main materials. However, there are still several extremely rare ores that he hasn't found. Yang Feng plans to collect them through trade. Since Bai Yuxian wants Yang Feng to nominally submit to the Great Cloud Dynasty, then he naturally has to get enough benefits from her. Bai Yuxian's eyes shimmered with a sly gleam, and she asked with a sweet smile, what kind of ores do you want the most? Yang Feng replied with a smile, in the Zhangji Plain, the Brest Dynasty, the Bajor Dynasty, and the Kader Dynasty are much larger than the Great Cloud Dynasty. I don't necessarily have to travel in the Great Cloud Dynasty. The Undying Mountain has no conflict with the 3 dynasties. I don't think they will refuse a friend like the Undying Mountain. The Brest Dynasty, Bajor Dynasty, and Kader Dynasty didn't share a border with the Ligui province. Naturally, they didn't have any conflicts with the Ligui province. Under such circumstances, the 3 dynasties wouldn't refuse to have a powerful friend like the Undying Mountain. Many warlock geniuses from the Brest Dynasty, the Bajor Dynasty, and the Kader Dynasty also came to the Great Cloud Dynasty to gain experience. At the time, the 8th Warlock Emperor, the Dawn Lord, had traveled in the Eastern world for a long time. Many warlock geniuses from the Eastern world traveled to the Western world. Especially after the emergence of the Dawn Lord, more warlock geniuses from the Eastern world traveled to the Western world. That was because the Dawn Lord's Dawn Royal City was the only relic of a warlock emperor controlled by human warlocks to this day. Among the 8 warlock emperors, 7 of them chose the Eastern world as their capital. However, when the warlock dynasties collapsed, the 7 imperial capitals were destroyed and fought over by countless powerful races. The capital of the 7th warlock dynasty, the Magic Note dynasty, which was known as the #1 secret treasure, was torn into countless pieces and fell into the hands of different powerhouses. The main part of the Dawn Royal City was refined from the wreckage of the 7th Warlock Dynasty's Magic Note Dynasty's capital. The Dawn Royal City was much weaker than the capitals of the 7 Warlock Dynasties. But for some reason, when the 8th Warlock Dynasty collapsed, it wasn't destroyed, and had remained until now. The Dawn Royal City was the only Empyrean-grade royal city in the Tsangji Plain, and it was controlled by the Western World City Guards. The City Guards were said to be descendants of the Black Light Great Holy, one of the 3 Holy Spirit warlocks subordinated to the Dawn Lord. The Dawn Royal City was one of the relic sites that Yang Feng wanted to explore. In addition, due to the emergence of the Dawn Lord, the Western world's power expanded greatly and occupied a lot of territory that originally belonged to the Eastern world. Within the sphere of influence of the Western world's 3 dynasties, there were countless relic sites of the ancient warlock era. Even if Yang Feng didn't travel around the Great Cloud Dynasty, there were still other places he could travel. "Alright, you bully a weak woman like me." Bai Yuxian sighed faintly and waved her lily-white hand, and the oars on the jade slip turned red, and then flew towards Yang Feng. Yang Feng glanced at the jade slip and couldn't help but praise in his heart, as expected of the Great Cloud Dynasty, its underlying strength is really deep. More than half of the oars on the jade slip turned red. The oars required to upgrade the level for Stronghold were basically complete, except for the ore called Star River Green Gold. It wasn't that the Tsangji Plain didn't have Star River Green Gold, but that it was useless in the world of warlocks. Naturally, the Great Cloud Dynasty wouldn't collect such useless things. Normally, no matter what method was used, the ore of Star River Green Gold would be no different from an ordinary stone, unable to display any value. However, after it was combined with several ores researched by the Shizu, it would form an astonishingly strong alloy, which could serve as the core component of the more advanced matter and energy converter. Yang Feng has sent countless mining robots to search for this ore in the Ligui province. It was only a matter of time before he found it. Yang Feng responded straightforwardly, "Okay, as soon as I get the ores, I'll go to the higher-ups and persuade the other elders of the Undying Mountain to submit to the Great Cloud Dynasty." Bai Yuxian showed a sly smile. "I still have a gift for you, young Master Lei Ming." According to the analysis of the Secret Treasure Development Division's Relic Search Department, a relic of the 6th Warlock Dynasty, the Golem Dynasty, is about to appear in the Ligui province. The Great Cloud Dynasty hopes to get 100,000 spots to explore the relic. Yang Feng's heart stirred. The Relic Search Department is amazing. Should I join the Relic Search Department with my other identity? In the world of warlocks, powerful warlocks possess incredible power. At the same time, many warlocks have all kinds of life-saving secret methods. Of course, there is a huge price to pay for using these life-saving secret methods. Many of them will even lose most of their life force once they are cast. Powerful warlocks would habitually open up 2 or more immortal caves, and place all kinds of materials in the immortal caves. Once they are seriously injured, they can use the various materials hidden in the caves to quickly restore their strength. Even Yang Feng has left different treasuries in different planes, in case of accidents. The Tsangji Plain has experienced countless upheavals. Therefore, there are many relics left in the Tsangji Plain, which are the relics of powerful warlocks. Under the erosion of time, the defensive power of the relics disappeared, and they could see the light of day one by one. The Great Cloud Dynasty's Relic Search Department is a department that specializes in searching for various relics in the Tsangji Plain. The Western world's 3 dynasties also have specialized relic search departments. Most of the people in these departments are warlocks who practice astrology and other divination spells. Yang Feng said flatly, "The relic of the Golem Dynasty? No wonder you made such a big concession. For the sake of the Great Cloud Dynasty, I'll give you a quota." Bai Yuxian's eyes shimmered strangely, and she uttered, "A quota? Young Master Lei Ming, do you want to monopolize the relic of the 6th Warlock Dynasty, the Golem Dynasty?" Yang Feng responded boldly, "Of course. Since the relic of the 6th Warlock Dynasty, the Golem Dynasty, appeared in my territory, then the only option is to monopolize it." Generally, the appearance of an ancient warlock relic will attract countless warlocks, and then be divided up by the surrounding warlock groups. Now that Yang Feng has unified the Ligui province, he naturally won't let others enter the relic of the 6th warlock dynasty, the Golem dynasty. At the very least, he won't let others enter the relic before he plunders all the valuable treasures inside. Bai Yuxian said with a smile, 10,000 quotas. The Great Cloud dynasty can send 10,000 warlocks to explore the relic. The first time the relic opens is also the most dangerous time. We can help you explore the relic and reduce the losses of the Ligui province, 3 quotas. The Ligui province can still afford the losses of exploring the relic. 1,000 quotas. I have already lowered my demand by 100 times. As a man, shouldn't you be a bit more generous? 10 quotas. The Undying Mountain can't let go of the relic of the Golem dynasty easily. After probing and haggling, Yang Feng finally agreed to give Bai Yuxian 30 quotas to enter the relic of the Golem dynasty. In exchange, Yang Feng also obtained the qualification to enter the relic of the Great Cloud dynasty. 10 days later, above a desert 300 kilometers west of the Ligui province's Greenwood Stone City, the void distorted, and a huge cave sparkling with black lightning suddenly appeared. As if born from nothing, a huge celestial body suspended above the desert and frantically absorbed the surrounding life magic energy. The huge celestial body suspended above the desert can be seen by humans within a radius of 1,000 kilometers. Relic, this is an ancient warlock relic. An ancient warlock relic. After seeing the relic in the desert, countless human warlocks flew towards the huge celestial body. Chapter 619. Warning, this relic site belongs to the Undying Mountain. The area 100 kilometers in radius around the relic site has been set as a restricted area. Any warlock who enters the restricted area without permission will be regarded as an enemy and eliminated directly. Loud warnings echoed in an area hundreds of kilometers in radius around the celestial body. 10 million modified second-generation battle robots formed one mechanical legion after another and built one battle position after another. In the sky, there are 10 Star Destroyer battlestars and an aircraft carrier suspended in the air. As soon as the human warlocks approached the area, they received a warning from Yang Feng. Most of the warlocks could only look at the second-generation battle robots with unwillingness in their eyes. They had no choice but to stop. Outside the cordon, there are 2 warlocks, one male and one female. The handsome male warlock and the beautiful female warlock look like a match made in heaven. The beautiful warlock pouted and uttered with an unwilling expression, "Damn it, the relic site doesn't belong to the Undying Mountain. Why can't we go in?" There was a flash of unwillingness in the eyes of the male warlock, and he sighed slightly, because the Undying Mountain is the most powerful warlock group in the Ligui province. Now the entire Ligui province is unified by the Undying Mountain. Their wills were absolute existences in the Ligui province. This is the rule of this world. Just like in the secular world, when something good appears, it will be seized by kings and emperors because they control the most powerful force. There are many subcontinents around the main world, and there are many large and small mortal states on the subcontinents. The male warlock is very knowledgeable and understands the rules of the mortal states on the subcontinents. Although he is unwilling, but he isn't too angry. The other warlock next to the male warlock snorted coldly and disappeared in an instant. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the sky and blasted into the void. The void exploded in an instant, countless chunks of blood scattered on the ground, and Starry Sky warlock rank life force collapsed and dissipated. That's hidden MOMODA. His stealth ability can even make it difficult for Moonlight warlocks to perceive him, yet he was insta-killed just like that. Is this the strength of the Undying Mountain? How fearsome! When the surrounding warlocks saw this scene, they inhaled a breath of cold air, and no longer dared to ignore Undying Mountain's warning. In the center of the desert was a steel fortress. Inside the fortress were 500,000 third-generation battle robots. In the center of the steel fortress, Yang Feng sat on a sofa, opposite him sat Bai Yuxian, and beside him sat the blazing angel Alexia. At this time, Alexia had completely retracted the 3 pairs of fallen angel wings on her back. At a glance, she looked like a Western war goddess with a peerless appearance and a heroic aura. In front of Yang Feng's group of 3, there were 12 warlocks from the Great Cloud Dynasty's relic site search department. A beautiful moonlight warlock with gold-rimmed glasses, a voluptuous and sexy figure, and long black hair, full of intelligence, was presiding over the work of the relic search department. On top of a spherical secret treasure, there was a dazzling magic radiance. Countless formulas and spell models were flickering on that spherical secret treasure. A resplendent blue magic thread extended from the spherical secret treasure and entered the huge relic site of the Golem dynasty. The spherical secret treasure was called Relic Site Analyzer, which could analyze the characteristics of relic sites through various spells. Many relic sites had various magic restriction characteristics. Before the secret treasure Relic Site Analyzer was developed, it required countless warlocks or intelligent life forms to be experimented on. After the Relic Site Analyzer was developed, the magic restriction characteristics of all relic sites before the Magic Note dynasty could be easily analyzed. Princess Azure River, the preliminary analysis has been completed. This relic site should be a relic site at the end of the Golem dynasty, a relic site opened by a great holy step powerhouse. This relic site has only appeared 3 times in the Tsangji plane in order to absorb energy from the Tsangji plane to maintain the relic site's existence and not degenerate. This time, the relic site will last for about 3 months. To be precise, it will last more than 85 days. After 85 days, the relic site will likely close and disappear. Once the relic site closes, you must possess at least the Warlock Monarch rank power to come out. There is rich life magic energy inside the relic site. Although no breath of powerful life forms has been detected, but the Golem dynasty's Golem arts are the best in the world. They shouldn't be underestimated. This relic site is an unrestricted relic site. There is no barrier set up. Anyone can enter this relic site. Even Infinity Warlocks can enter. The intellectual Moonlight Warlock Lu Yen came to Bai Yuxian and reported. An unrestricted relic site. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a dignified shade. Many of the relic sites with cultivation-based restrictions are places where ancient warlock sects cultivate the younger generation. Take the Time Sky City for example. This kind of relic site is limited in danger. The main danger lies in the human warlocks inside. Unrestricted relic sites, on the other hand, are different. Some powerful relic sites can even kill Holy Spirit warlocks. Yang Feng looked at the huge relic site with a complicated look in his eyes. I wonder if this relic site is a blessing or a curse. Unrestricted relic sites are generally very dangerous. But once they are cracked, Yang Feng may even gain full control of the relic site. A relic site refined from a celestial body by the Golem dynasty has infinite value. Even if there is nothing inside, it can be used to create a trial ground for cultivating low-level warlocks, or a medicine garden for cultivating various elixirs. Brest Dynasty's Bartoloni requests an audience with the Undying Mountain's young master. Bajor Dynasty's Claudia requests an audience with the Undying Mountain's young master. Catered Dynasty's Dondong requests an audience with the Undying Mountain's young master. Bright World Warlock rank breaths rose in the distance, and 3 voices sounded at the same time. Yang Feng frowned slightly and glanced at Bai Yuxian, and saw the peerless beauty reveal a smile of schadenfreude. Yang Feng asked, "You already guessed it, didn't you?" Bai Yuxian replied with a sweet smile, "Of course. The Western world's 3 dynasties are as famous as my Great Cloud dynasty. They are the birthplace of many powerful astrology spells such as Bajor astrology, Hugo astrology, and Riga astrology. Their relic site search department isn't any weaker than our Great Cloud dynasties. I would be surprised if they didn't come." Yang Feng got up and walked outside. Alexia followed him like a shadow. Surrounded by 5 glorious sun warlocks and 10 moonlight warlocks, Yang Feng came to the edge of the Undying Mountain's security zone. He saw 3 groups of warlocks standing on the edge of the security zone divided into 3 groups. Clearly, they maintain a certain amount of respect for Yang Feng's Undying Mountain. "I am Lei Ming, the Undying Mountain's young master." Yang Feng glanced at the warlocks from the Western world's 3 dynasties and recognized at a glance the warlock supreme geniuses Kresno, Inlin, Brea, and several other supreme geniuses who fought against him in the City of Time. However, the proud Kresno and them are now just juniors with great potential. They don't have the qualifications to discuss important matters with Yang Feng. An old man with white hair and a white beard in a red warlock robe with a scepter in hand stepped forward and uttered with a gentle smile, "I am Bartoloni from the Brest dynasty. Young Master Lei Ming, we came here in the hope of entering the newly emerged relic site of the Golem dynasty." Yang Feng said flatly, "The Undying Mountain is recognized as the master of the Ligui province. Since the relic site of the Golem dynasty is in the Ligui province, it belongs to the Undying Mountain." Bartoloni responded with a gentle smile, "Of course, we don't deny this. However, we still hope to enter the relic site. If you agree to let us in, then the relic sites we control will be open to the Undying Mountain. The 3 dynasties control a lot of relic sites. Moreover, the Zhangji Plains origin has been active recently, setting off waves of spiritual force in the outer realms. Many relic sites hidden in the outer realms will appear in the Zhangji Plain. There are definitely no less than 3 relic sites in the Western world. If we can cooperate, won't it be better than confrontation?" Yang Feng glanced at the warlocks from the Western world, his gaze swept past several secret treasures, and he said flatly, "Those should be level 9 secret treasures, right? If I don't agree, are you going to force your way in?" The cunning Bartoloni refused to admit it, and said meaningfully, "I heard that the Ligui province is quite chaotic. We just have a few secret treasures on us for self-defense." The Western world's 3 dynasties sent a total of 9 Bright World Warlocks, 27 Glorious Sun Warlocks, and 163 Moonlight Warlocks here. With the level 9 secret treasures they carry on them, they indeed have the strength to fight Yang Feng. In the world of warlocks, when it comes to the interests of all parties, only when both parties have equal strength can they sit down and negotiate. Yang Feng pondered for a while before saying, "Okay, I can let you in. However, the Undying Mountain will have the same number of people to enter the relic sites you control. Besides, a contract must be signed in the name of the Trial Scale. The Trial Scale is a terrifying existence comparable to a great holy step human warlock, and it controls the 3 laws of trial, contract, and justice. A contract witnessed by the Trial Scale is extremely binding, second only to the Styx River Oath. When warlocks make contracts, they like to do so under the witness of the Trial Scale." Chapter 620. In the vast universe, there are countless powerful existences that have mastered the law of contracts. Some devils have mastered the law of contracts and can seize human souls through various contracts. Among these powerful existences, the contracts presided over by the trial balance are the fairest and the strongest binding force. Once a contract is signed, unless a top treasure or law is used, even a great holy step powerhouse will be bound or even killed by the frightening contract force. The Trial Scale wasn't considered a top-notch existence among the great sage-level existences, but it had killed more than 3 great sage-level powerhouses. All of them were great holy step powerhouses who didn't abide by the contract and were killed by it using the law of contracts. Bartoloni uttered, "Okay, let's sign a fair contract under the witness of the trial balance." Yang Feng silently recited an incantation and spread the fingers of a hand, and a contract made from the skin of a Moonlight Warlock rank extraordinary life form shone, and 1 million low-grade magic crystals as an offering in his right hand disappeared. In the sky, an incomparably powerful aura descended, and a huge golden scale appeared in the void, floating above the contract. After reading the contract carefully, the 9 Bright World Warlocks of the 3 dynasties signed their names. If a contract is witnessed by a powerful existence such as a fiend or devil, then one must be careful. Beware of the various traps hidden in the contract. However, if it is witnessed by the trial balance, then there will be no loopholes or unfairness in the contract. Of course, summoning the trial balance is a very advanced spell. Only Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouses and above can freely summon a projection of the trial balance to carry out a fair contract. A warlock came to Yang Feng and said, "Young Master, the Great Cloud Dynasty's Tai Yi sect, Saint Lotus sect, and the 8 great families have come to see you. Yang Feng apologized to the warlocks of the Western world's 3 dynasties, and then walked in another direction. In another direction, at the edge of a restricted area, there are warlocks from the Great Cloud Dynasty's 10 strongest forces and many pinnacle warlock forces from the Great Cloud Dynasty gathered. These warlocks are eager to explore the relic site of the Golem dynasty. Of the 8 great warlock dynasties, every warlock dynasty was at the pinnacle of human warlocks. In the Zhangji Plain, the human warlock civilization went from weak to peak, and then from peak to decline. Many top-notch secret techniques were destroyed in wars and lost in the long river of history. The modern Zhangji Plains warlock civilization was built on the ruins of the 8 warlock dynasties. Many secret methods and special alchemy were obtained by human warlocks from excavating various ruins. In the modern warlock civilization, there were many aspects that surpassed the ancient warlock civilization, but similarly, there were also many aspects that couldn't even compare to the warlock civilization of the 8 great warlock dynasties. The 6th warlock dynasty, Golem dynasty, was one of the strongest 7 great warlock dynasties, with all kinds of exquisite golems emerging one after another. If one could grasp a part of golem technology, it would be of great benefit to any warlock group. The 6th warlock dynasty, Golem dynasty, has 3 Empyrean golems and 12 holy golems. Each of the 3 Empyrean golems possesses the strength to contend against warlock emperor rank existences. They are the crystallization of the golem lord's golem mastery. The 12 sacred puppets also possessed the terrifying power to fight against a great sage expert. After the collapse of the puppet dynasty, the 3 emperor puppets and the 12 sacred puppets had disappeared. If anyone could get their hands on such a golem, they would be able to become the strongest expert in the Zhangji Plain. It was due to the attraction of the top-notch golems that countless warlocks gathered here. Yang Feng came to the edge of the restricted area, glanced at the warlocks, and said flatly, "I am Undying Mountain's young master Lei Ming." A moonlight warlock in black suddenly appeared in the crowd and instigated loudly, "Young Master Lei Ming, the relic site of the Golem dynasty is the most precious heritage of the Zhangji Plains human warlocks. Why can you monopolize this relic site? This relic site should be a treasure that belongs to the Zhangji Plains human warlocks. Am I right, everyone?" "That's right. The relic site of the Golem dynasty is a treasure that belongs to the Zhangji Plains human warlocks, not to the Undying Mountain. Open the relic site and let us in. Everyone, let's go together. They won't dare to touch us." The warlocks hidden in the crowd started to incite loudly. The Tai Yi sect, the Saint Lotus sect, and the 8 great families watched all this indifferently. The other top warlock groups of the Great Cloud dynasty, however, stood aside quietly, keeping away from the warlocks who have fallen into a frenzy. Yang Feng ordered coldly, "Kill them all." Resplendent beams of light rained down from the sky and slammed into the warlocks who were inciting and clamoring loudly. A copious amount of blood blossomed, and the warlocks were torn apart and blasted to pieces. The Undyings suddenly rushed out from the side, rushed into the crowd of warlocks like lightning, and easily killed the Empyrean warlocks one by one. As if ants in boiling water, countless low-level warlocks shot in all directions, not daring to get involved in such a battle. After dozens of breaths of time, there were no more foolish warlocks in the area. All the warlocks became well-behaved and looked at Yang Feng with apprehension in their eyes. Yang Feng glanced at the warlocks indifferently and said flatly, "This is the Ligui province, and my Undying Mountain is the master of the Ligui province. The relic site of the 6th warlock dynasty, the Golem dynasty, has appeared in the Ligui province, so it belongs to my Undying Mountain. Anyone who disagrees can go to hell. The strong are kings and dominate everything. Generally speaking, such a relic site will cause competition among the surrounding warlock groups, and finally be divided up by several powerful warlock groups. But now that the Ligui province is Yang Feng's territory, he has only one choice, that is, to take the entire relic site for himself. Of course, if a powerful enough warlock force comes to make an exchange of benefits, Yang Feng will make some compromises and concessions. These rogue cultivators aren't qualified to make Yang Feng concede. A tall and burly middle-aged man with a triangular rune on his forehead and junior bright world warlock rank cultivation base, exuding an overbearing aura, glanced at Yang Feng and said proudly, "I am the Tai Yi sect's great elder Sun Tianyang. Junior, let the person in charge of the Undying Mountain talk to me." Yang Feng uttered coldly, "I can represent the Undying Mountain. If you don't want to talk to me, then scram." What an arrogant junior. "I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders and let you know that there is always someone better than you out there." Sun Tianyang has always been arrogant in the Great Cloud Dynasty. When he saw that Yang Feng dared to contradict him, he flew into a rage and slapped Yang Feng in the face. Fearsome Bright World Warlock rank soul force enveloped Yang Feng and wrapped around him like chains. Sun Tianyang's slap seems to twist and carries a trace of karma force. Yang Feng can only feel the vigor of heaven and earth rejecting him. Only the force of the small world inside him can still be used. There is no way to avoid it. Yang Feng operated the force of the small world inside him, a cold look in his eyes, and barely squeezed out a sentence, "Kill him." Standing silently behind Yang Feng, the beautiful eyes of Alexia, who looks like Yang Feng's concubine, blossomed with bright light, and 3 pairs of pitch-black fallen angel wings appeared on her back, and a black sword ray that seems capable of splitting the world slashed toward Sun Tianyang. Fallen angel. Sun Tianyang's face fell, and he screamed in horror. The pitch-black sword ray instantly cut Sun Tianyang's body in two, and a copious amount of dark force turned into fallen angel fire that burned Sun Tianyang's body to ashes. A bright world core containing Sun Tianyang's soul suddenly flew towards the 2 great sects and the 8 great families. Killing intent surged in Yang Feng's eyes, and he retreated briskly and pointed with a finger. The dense mechanical army flew over frantically. The 30-star destroyer interstellar battleships hovering in the sky suddenly adjusted their muzzles and aimed at the 2 major sects and the 8 great families. As long as Yang Feng gives the order, he can launch a devastating attack on the 2 great sects and the 8 great families. The 2 great sects and the 8 great families have sent a total of 10 bright world warlocks. However, this is Yang Feng's territory, and he has built countless fortifications and turrets. As long as Yang Feng is willing to pay the price, he has a 70% chance of keeping a large number of the 2 great sects and the 8 great families here. The warlocks of the 2 great sects and the 8 great families suddenly felt a hair-raising premonition of danger. With their extraordinary perception, they can clearly perceive that as long as they make the slightest movement, their lives will be in danger. Alexia turned into a black ray, her beautiful eyes flashed with excitement, and she slashed at Sun Tianyang's bright world core with her sword. As long as the sword strike hits, Alexia will be able to completely destroy Sun Tianyang's soul and destroy all his resurrection methods and secret methods. Young Master Lei Ming, please calm down. Sun Tianyang has already paid the price for his reckless behavior. For the sake of the Saint Lotus sect, please spare his life. A lotus leaf as pure as snow suddenly flew out and turned into an 18-layered lotus leaf shield that blocked in front of Sun Tianyang's soul core. When Alexia's invincible fallen angel sword slashed at the 18-layered lotus leaf shield, the level 8 secret treasure lotus leaf shield was cut in half. However, her sword was delayed for a moment, allowing Sun Tianyang to escape from her sword and fly into the Saint Lotus sect's camp. Chapter 621. Following Yang Feng's order, hundreds of thousands of Ligui province's warlocks began to recite incantations. Magic barriers began to appear in this area, and a huge magic suppression array began to extend. The magic suppression array can isolate the energy of heaven and earth here. Except for body-tempering warlocks and supreme geniuses with a virtual world inside them, the strength of other warlocks will decline rapidly. The magic ban array was the place where Yang Feng's battle robots could display their greatest strength. In the Ligui province, only Yang Feng's Undying Mountain can set up a super-large magic suppression array. Magic suppression arrays have the weakness of not distinguishing between friend and foe. Generally speaking, they will only be set up to deal with elemental warlocks with the most destructive power. Magic suppression arrays don't distinguish between friend and foe. Although they can greatly weaken non-pure elemental warlocks, but they can't make other warlocks vulnerable at the first blow. Therefore, they rarely appear on the battlefield. However, for Yang Feng's Mechanical Legion, magic suppression arrays are the best fighting environment. Along with a burst of crisp laughter, Bai Yuxian walked out of the void and uttered with a sweet smile on her face, "Young Master Lei Ming, please calm your anger. I will make the Tai Yi sect pay a sufficient price to quell your anger. As for the other 8 great families, they have no intention of being enemies with you." A middle-aged warlock with an elegant temperament exuding intermediate bright world warlock rank fluctuations of power said with a smile, "Young Master Lei Ming, I am Shangguan Hong of the Shangguan family. The Shangguan family has no intention to be your enemy, no matter what happens. No matter what happens, the Shangguan family will remain neutral." A man whose hair and eyebrows had turned scarlet, as if they were burning with flames, said solemnly, "Young Master Lei Ming, I am Wang Zhihua of the Wang family. Our Wang family has no intention of becoming enemies with you." The bright world warlocks of the 8 great families stepped forward and expressed their unwillingness to be enemies with Yang Feng's Undying Mountain. The Tai Yi sect was originally the leader of Great Cloud Dynasty's 10 great sects. After the 10 great sects were destroyed, the Tai Yi sect's power expanded greatly again, and it became more arrogant and domineering, offending many people. Among the 8 great families, few families are on good terms with the Tai Yi sect. Even the relationship between the Jiang family and the Tai Yi sect, which is known as the Bai family's lackey, is very bad. Yang Feng snapped his fingers, and a beam from the Star Destroyer artillery, which brushed past the place where the Tai Yi sect's party is located, slammed into the endless desert, and blasted open a huge bottomless hole in the desert. What a terrifying war weapon! This is a secret treasure refined by Undying Mountain's alchemists. The power of that strike is comparable to a pinnacle bright world warlock ranked powerhouse's all-out strike. What a terrifying artifact! This secret treasure is enough to kill bright world warlocks. When the warlocks from the 2 great sects, the 8 great families, and many pinnacle warlock groups of the Great Cloud Dynasty saw this scene, they inhaled a breath of cold air. The bright world warlocks of the 2 sects and the 8 great families couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. If they weren't prepared and were hit by the Star Destroyer cannon, even if they didn't die, they would be severely injured. When Sun Tianyang, who devoured an apple and recovered his fleshly body, saw this scene, his expression became unsightly. Yang Feng is clearly showing off his strength, showing that he has enough power to wipe out the warlocks from the 2 great sects and the 8 great families. In this way, he will be in a completely advantageous position in the following negotiations. After the arrogant Sun Tianyang saw the terrifying battle prowess of the blazing angel Alexia and the might of the Star Destroyer artillery, he dispelled the idea of provoking Yang Feng in the Ligui province. The Ligui province is a restricted area for warlocks. Apart from infinity warlocks, only supreme geniuses who formed a virtual world and possess pinnacle bright world warlock rank cultivation base can contend against the blazing angel Alexia. Yang Feng went straight to the point. "You must have come for the relic site of the 6th warlock dynasty, the Golem dynasty. What price do you plan to pay to enter the relic site?" As long as Yang Feng still plans to move about in the Great Cloud Dynasty's sphere of influence, he can't refuse the request of the 2 great sects and the 8 great families without any reason. Shangguan Hong responded with a smile. The Shangguan family also controls several relic sites of the 5th warlock dynasty. If you let us in, young Master Lei Ming, then you can also enter the relic sites of the 8 great warlock dynasties. Moreover, you can gain the friendship of the Shangguan family. The other 8 great families, the Tai Yi sect, and the Saint Lotus sect expressed the same intention. They are willing to let Yang Feng enter the relic sites of the 6th warlock dynasty for adventure and to study the various relic sites and secret methods. After bargaining with them, Yang Feng finally agreed to let them take people into the relic sites of the 6th warlock dynasty, the Golem dynasty. "Young Master Lei Ming, please wait." After Yang Feng reached an agreement with the 2 great sects and the 8 great families, he was about to turn around and leave, when suddenly a voice came from behind him. Yang Feng turned his head and saw a radiant young man looking at him with a smile on his face, making people feel very comfortable. The radiant young man smiled and waved his hand, and a parchment flew towards Yang Feng. "My name is Yuan Shuangbin, the pavilion master of the Flowing Flower Pavilion. Young Master Lei Ming is looking for a variety of minerals. The flowing flower pavilion happens to have a few of them. I'm willing to offer these minerals to young master. I wonder if I can exchange them for some quotas to enter the relic sites. Yang Feng took the parchment and glanced at it, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Among the various minerals listed on the parchment, the flowing flower pavilion just so happened to have the Star River green gold. In addition, there were also 2 main ores for promoting the stronghold to level 5. Yang Feng said, 500 quotas, I can give you 500 quotas to enter the relic sites. However, you'll be responsible for your own life and death inside the relic sites. Yuan Shuangbin smiled and threw a storage ring to Yang Feng. These are the ores, please accept them. Yang Feng scanned the storage ring with his spirit and sensed the various rare ores inside, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. I can promote the stronghold to level 4. Sure enough, it's much easier for the leader of a major force than for rogue cultivators to collect all kinds of ores. The Shizu matter and energy converter was the core of all Shizu technology. Through the matter and energy converter, energy could be transformed into various rare ores. Only then would they be able to create all kinds of top-notch battleships and main battle robots with unimaginably powerful abilities. Matter and energy converters also required top-notch materials to be manufactured, which was why they were divided into different grades. The various rare ores required for level 4 and above matter and energy converters were even harder to find than the materials required for some level 9 secret treasures. It was because Yang Feng had become the master of the Ligui province that he could easily find the various rare ores required for the level 4 matter and energy converters. Brother Yuan, I am Jiang Yu, a true disciple of the Great Desolate War Tower. I wonder if I can become friends with you. Brother Yuan, I'm willing to pay 10,000 high-grade magic crystals to buy a quota to enter the relic sites. As soon as Yang Feng left, the surrounding warlocks swarmed around Yuan Shuangbin and competed over the 500 quotas to enter the relic sites. Yuan Shuangbin was a warm and forthright person, moreover, he liked to make friends. Very quickly, he sold the 500 quotas to many famous warlocks as well as some rogue warlocks' geniuses. The warlocks formed a loose warlock group and entered the center of the desert with happy expressions on their faces. The relic sites that had never appeared before represented endless danger, but at the same time, they also represented great benefits. Because such relic sites hadn't been developed and utilized by warlocks, there might be many precious secret treasures left. If many secret treasures weren't properly maintained and were carelessly discarded in a corner, their power would fade little by little over time, and eventually all their extraordinary power would disappear. But if those secret treasures were placed in some special secret treasure warehouses, then they wouldn't lose their power even after tens of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years. If those relic sites were dwellings refined by warlocks for themselves, then they must have considered the issue of hidden treasures. A day later, after repeated probing, Lu Yen found a relatively safe entry point. The warlocks in the desert couldn't bear it any longer and flew towards the relic, fearing that Yang Feng would take away all the treasures inside the relic. After weighing the pros and cons, Yang Feng used a flesh golem as his avatar and led hundreds of thousands of third-generation battle robots into the relic site. At the same time, he also brought along his strongest trump card, Alexia. The relic site of the 6th Warlock dynasty, the Golem dynasty, was in fact a huge celestial body. The celestial body was only twice the size of Earth. When Yang Feng and his party flew within 10,000 meters of the celestial body, a frightening attractive force came from the celestial body and forcibly sucked Yang Feng and his party into the celestial body. As soon as they entered the celestial body, what greeted their eyes were thousands of meters tall skyscrapers brimming with fantastical style, as if they were placed in a celestial body of the future technology era. Only the 10-story tall and 11-story tall warlock towers as well as the mysterious runes engraved on the various buildings showed that this celestial body belonged to warlocks.
What a terrible relic site. There are no living life forms here. When Yang Feng landed, he looked at the spacious and bright streets and the beautiful buildings that looked like the work of a master of art. He frowned slightly, and an unclear premonition welled up inside him. Before arriving on this celestial body, Yang Feng didn't perceive any life forms on this celestial body.
Chapter 622. This relic site refined by the 6th Warlock Dynasty's Golem Dynasty is full of life magic energy. According to common sense, there should be countless life forms on this celestial body. For example, insects, fungi, and plants with extremely tenacious life force. Once in the Moonlight Warlock realm, they are transcendents. Top Moonlight Warlocks possess subtle perception ability, and their perception of life is far beyond the imagination of ordinary people. As long as they are willing, they can even perceive the surrounding fungi. Yang Feng didn't perceive any fluctuations of life on this celestial body, not even the fluctuations of life of fungi. This is very abnormal. In addition to Yang Feng, the warlocks of the 3 dynasties, the 2 great sects, and the 8 great families became vigilant. They silently recited incantations, and magic fluctuations enveloped them and formed magic shields. The warlocks are well aware that this kind of unrestricted relic site is the most valuable, but at the same time the most dangerous. This is the dwelling of the 6th Warlock Dynasty's Golem Dynasty's Sword Puppet Holy. Welcome, everyone. A voice suddenly sounded. In the center of the city, a tall building engraved with countless runes twisted and changed into a 1.8-meter tall, extremely handsome, expressionless middle-aged man with fluttering black hair, and queer golem force permeated his body. Golem force, that's the 6th Warlock Dynasty's top golem. That's the crystallization of the 6th Warlock Dynasty's highest technology, living golem. When the warlocks sensed the golem force permeating the middle-aged man, their eyes shone with excitement at once. The 6th Warlock Dynasty's Golem Dynasty's highest alchemy crystallization was the incredible golem technology Living Golem. Living golems can practice cultivation independently. At the same time, they can use golem force, which is the complete opposite of human warlocks, and is full of queer power. The various forces that human warlocks practice various secret methods and produce are collectively called life force or life force. The power of puppets was completely different from the power of life. Once hit by the power of puppets, all life forms would be transformed into puppets and corroded into puppets. At the time, when the 6th Warlock Emperor Golem Lord swept through the world with 3 Empyrean golems and 12 holy golems, countless powerful existences were eroded by the golem force of the 3 Empyrean golems and 12 holy golems and turned into golems. Before the Golem Lord developed living golems, the mechanical Golem Legion and other main legions gradually declined and eventually withdrew from the Zhangji plane, only suppressing some low-level planes. After the collapse of the 6th Warlock Dynasty, the top living golems were slaughtered by the allied forces of various races who were afraid of their power. According to the legend, the 3 Emperor puppets and the 12 holy puppets led the remaining, living puppets, to escape to a plane and built a world called the Puppet Realm. Since the 6th Warlock Dynasty, no more living golems have appeared in the Zhangji plane. Now that a living golem has appeared, it naturally filled the human warlocks with excitement. The living golem is the greatest masterpiece of the 6th Warlock Emperor Golem Lord. It is a fearsome existence that can confidently practice cultivation and possess great power. Unlike human warlocks, it doesn't need to rest and can fight continuously. If they can research and manufacture a living golem, then no matter which warlock group it is, they can easily get a golem legion. This living golem is the Tai Yi sect's prey. With a flash of greed in his eyes, Sun Tianyang silently recited an incantation and inserted his right hand into the void. Behind the handsome middle-aged man, the living puppet, the void distorted, and Sun Tianyang's right hand suddenly stabbed out, grabbing at the middle-aged man. The living golem tapped Sun Tianyang's right hand with its finger. A mere junior bright world warlock dares to attack me, Jia Lua, you're overestimating yourself. Grey golem force spread along Sun Tianyang's right hand and eroded his body in an instant. Sun Tianyang's face fell, and he silently recited an incantation, and red light wrapped around his right hand in an attempt to completely dispel the golem force. The grey light was frantically eroding, suppressing the red light and continuously eroding Sun Tianyang's right hand. Sun Tianyang gritted his teeth, and a wind blade slashed at his right arm, forcibly cutting it off. His severed arm jumped away. As if it was given life, it bounced to the top of a building, and then strangely grew 3 eyes, stared at Sun Tianyang, and revealed a twisted smile. Seeing this scene, many of the warlocks present felt their blood run cold. After all, Sun Tianyang is a Bright World Warlock from the Tai Yi sect. Although he only has Junior Bright World Warlock rank cultivation base, but some rogue warlocks of the advanced Bright World Warlock rank may not be his opponent. For such a powerful warlock to be seriously injured by Jiailua, and his severed body underwent all kinds of strange mutations, it's really creepy. Sun Tianyang's face fell, and he screamed frantically, "My right hand can't be regenerated. You took away the soul of my right hand." Hearing Sun Tianyang's scream, the countenance of the warlocks present changed dramatically. Each Bright World Warlock possesses incredible power, and they are far more powerful than ordinary transcendent warlocks. Even if their body is cut to pieces, they can use various methods to quickly regenerate it. As long as the Bright World core isn't broken, there are infinite possibilities. Sun Tianyang's severed right hand could have easily been regenerated. But after his right hand's soul was taken away, his right hand can no longer be regenerated. Even if Sun Tianyang used all kinds of strange secret arts to cultivate another right hand, his right hand would not be able to move as it wished. Jiailua showed a wicked smile. "I am Jiailua, the butler the mighty Golem Lord bestowed upon the Sword Puppet Holy. Since you have invaded the Sword Puppet Holy's residence, then please become our companions." In the city, hundreds of millions of golem insects flew out, turned into insect clouds, and rushed towards the warlocks present. Everyone's expression changed drastically when they saw the puppet insects that had formed a terrifying cloud of insects without any signs of life. Human warlocks proficient in fire spells began to recite incantations, and the space was filled with violent fire elemental particles. Jiailua said with a smile, "Warlocks, please don't underestimate us. We are warriors who have followed the Golem Lord on expeditions to many planes. We have quite some experience in dealing with enemies." Strange runes suddenly appeared, and a huge magic ban array suddenly unfolded in the area. Enveloped by the huge magic ban array, the surrounding life magic energy was repelled, and the warlocks felt that their connection with the vigor of heaven and earth was severed. The fire elemental particles pervading the sky collapsed and disappeared in an instant. After human warlocks practiced cultivation to the Moonlight Warlock rank, they possessed godlike strength. They could use spells to control the vigor of heaven and earth and form all kinds of terrifying spells that resembled natural disasters. However, the magic ban array could repel the vigor of heaven and earth. Fighting inside the magic ban array was the last thing human warlocks wanted to face. Even body-tempering warlocks would be weakened by about 30% in such an environment. Elemental warlocks were the most miserable, and their strength might even be weakened by more than 95%. Yang Feng ordered coldly, "Destroy them." A dense swarm of modified second-generation battle robots flew out in an instant, and countless gunner robots equipped with flamethrowers sprayed a large amount of flames that formed a net of fire that swept the insect swarm away. Enveloped by the net of fire, large swaths of golem insects were burned to ashes. The golem insects that luckily passed through the net of fire were easily killed by the warlocks. The weakest warlocks who entered this relic site possessed Moonlight Warlock rank cultivation base. Not only were they comparable to gods and demons in terms of strength, but they were also extremely powerful. Even though they couldn't use the vigor of heaven and earth, and the power of their spells was greatly reduced, but they were still far stronger than ordinary people. Jiailua showed a smile and said full of malice, "Interesting, as expected of Tsangji Plains human warlocks. By the way, let me tell you a piece of good news. This is the residence of the Sword Puppet Holy, as well as the place of inheritance of the Sword Puppet Holy. If only one of the warlocks who entered this relic site dies, they will inherit the Sword Puppet Holy's legacy and become the master of the Sword Puppet Star. Of course, they will also become the master of us living golems. Please do your best." With that, Jiailua's figure fluttered, and he disappeared from the city. When they heard Jiailua's words, a peculiar feeling welled up in the hearts of the warlocks present, and they quietly began to stay away from Yang Feng and the Undying Mountain's battle robots. Shrouded by the magic ban domain, the strongest force is Yang Feng's Undying Mountain's force. The Sword Puppet Star contains the invaluable living golems and countless relics of the 6th Warlock dynasty. Everyone wants to become the master of this relic site. The warlocks are naturally full of apprehension towards Yang Feng. Bai Yuxian suddenly said, "Everyone, that's Jiailua's trick. He wants us to suspect each other, guard against each other, and even kill each other. That's why he said those words. He is definitely a dangerous existence. We have to join forces to be able to compete with him. We must not be provoked by him into killing each other." Chapter 623. Yang Feng uttered, "Since this relic site of the Golem dynasty is within the sphere of influence of the Undying Mountain, naturally no one can snatch it away. In any case, this relic site will fall into the hands of the Undying Mountain. Therefore, you don't have to worry that the Undying Mountain will attack you here." The thought of killing everyone just flashed through Yang Feng's mind before disappearing without a trace. The warlocks here have extraordinary backgrounds. Unless they can be silenced completely, there will be endless troubles in the future. Most importantly, Yang Feng heard malice in Jiailua's words. To kill each other over a golem's words is simply stupid. When they heard this, the pinnacle warlocks of the 3 dynasties, the 2 great sects, and the 8 great families revealed a pensive look in their eyes, and their expressions eased, and they began to kill the golem insects. The human warlocks are very cautious. After killing a certain number of golem insects, they immediately retreated behind the Undying Mountain's battle robots, drank various potions, and absorbed the life magic energy contained in high-grade magic crystals to restore their strength and keep themselves in peak condition. Yang Feng didn't say anything when he saw this scene. The relic site of the Golem dynasty gives him a very dangerous feeling. Even though he is tyrannical, he doesn't dare to be careless. Sitting on a building, Jiailua watched the golem insects and the human warlocks fight from afar and sighed. These human warlocks are really cautious. Unfortunately, I haven't recovered my strength. If it was the era of the 6th warlock dynasty, I could kill these ants by myself. Kong Ilua, it's your turn. In the buildings, queer runes suddenly lit up, and a fearsome spatial force enveloped the human warlocks in an instant. Yang Feng's face fell. Shit, this is a spatial division tactic. The spatial division tactic is to use spatial spells to divide powerful enemies into different places, and then concentrate the most powerful force to kill the enemies one by one. This spatial division tactic is most suitable to be used in one's own base. Many relic sites have the strange power of spatial teleportation. Once enemies enter a relic site, they will be teleported into a mess, and then finally be defeated and killed by the owner of the relic site. According to the analysis of Great Cloud Dynasty's warlock Lu Yan, this relic site doesn't have the ability to teleport people instantly. Without making any preparations, Yang Feng and his party were sent to different places by the relic site. Otherwise, as long as they carried an artifact that constantly emitted the power of space chaos, they would be able to break through the space division tactic. A spatial fluctuation surged, and Yang Feng appeared in a majestic yet empty city full of deathly stillness. All combat units, approach me immediately. Yang Feng closed his eyes at once and used the command microchip in his brain to issue orders to the surroundings. After receiving the order, the battle robots frantically moved towards Yang Feng. The space disruptors released various spatial interference spells and interfered with the surrounding spatial force. Yang Feng's heart stirred, and he tried to cut off the connection between the flesh golem and his consciousness. What a bad start. Do I have to go out and start over? An alarm sounded from the microchip. Error. Due to the interference of an unknown force, the consciousness of the substitute golem number 0005 cannot be separated. The level of danger is extremely high. Yang Feng's complexion changed greatly. That's terrible. If my consciousness is killed here, what will happen to my true body? There is a 10% chance that you will die along with your avatar in the Feisua plane. There is a 20% chance that your soul will be severely injured, and you will fall into eternal sleep. There is a 40% chance that your soul will be injured, and it will be difficult for you to promote to a glorious dawn warlock within 1,000 years. There is a 30% chance that your soul will be injured, and it will take 300 years to recover. A series of analyses were made from the smart chip. Yang Feng revealed a bitter smile. The world of warlocks is really strange and dangerous. Substitutes don't work either. No wonder when top warlocks explore various relic sites, they use their true bodies and their strongest power. The world of warlocks was extremely strange. There were avatars, death substitution secret methods, and other life-saving secret methods. At the same time, there were some fearsome karma secret treasures. As long as you were hit by a karma secret treasure, the injuries suffered by the avatar would even spread to the true body. Therefore, when top warlocks explore relic sites, they would generally descend with their true bodies, rather than using weak avatars. Yang Feng's thoughts stirred, and he calmed down from his shock and anger. A fall into the pit, a gain in your wit. Next time, when I go to explore other relic sites, I can only go with my true body. The premise is that I have to survive this time. Fly out. Yang Feng gave an order, and 20 starry sky rippers operated their engines to the limit, turned into streams of light, and flew towards the celestial body at Mach 17 speed. It's no use, you can't escape. Following a strange laugh, a 300-meter-long golden eagle with a pair of dragon wings on its back suddenly flew out, flapped its wings, and appeared in front of the 20 starry sky rippers. With a flash of grey golem light, the 20 starry sky rippers dimmed, and their connection with Yang Feng's smart chip was cut off. With his extraordinary eyesight, Yang Feng saw the 20 starry sky rippers follow the golden eagle and become its subordinates. Yang Feng looked at the golden golem eagle in the sky with apprehension in his eyes. So this is a living golem, the greatest masterpiece of the golem lord. What a dangerous and terrifying existence. The living puppet could corrode all existences and turn them into puppets. When the puppet lord was alive, he was the existence that everyone feared the most. It was because the living golem was so powerful that the golem lord abandoned the various golem legions he refined in his early years and developed the 3 Empyrean golems and 12 holy golems, which he never suffered a defeat. Yang Feng glanced around and looked at the desolate city without even insects, and he couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. Fortunately, the golem lord is dead. Otherwise, this might be the scene of golem force reaching its peak. Everything in the sword puppet sage's cave residence had been turned into puppets by the living puppets. Apart from the puppets, there was nothing else in the cave residence. This scene is more frightening than the most terrifying horror films. Suddenly, a dignified shade flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. With a flick of his wrist, a sword appeared in his hand, and he uttered coldly, "Come out." This flesh golem is the place where Yang Feng's consciousness resides. It has been transformed into a powerful existence with Moonlight Warlock rank cultivation base. Of course, the power of this flesh golem is far inferior to that of his true body. "Don't attack." Along with a voice, a man and a woman walked out of a small alley. The beautiful girl with short black hair asked Yang Feng with an expectant look on her face, "My name is Luo Yan, and he is my younger brother Luo Ming. Are you an outsider?" "Oh, no, are you a warlock from outside? Is the golem lord still alive?" Yang Feng looked at the girl with a complicated look in his eyes and said, "The golem lord has died a long time ago. The 8th Warlock dynasty has collapsed more than 100,000 years ago. Although the girl looks exactly like a human, but she doesn't have a trace of life aura on her. Clearly, she has become a golem. Moreover, she doesn't have golem force. She is a low-level golem that was eroded by a living golem." Luo Yan's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of despair, and she wept, "The golem lord has died. In that case, it's impossible for us to turn back into humans." No matter how much Luo Yan wept, not a single tear flowed out of her eyes. This shows that although she has a human appearance, but she is no longer a living human, but a dead golem. A chill welled up in Yang Feng's heart, and he vaguely made a guess. What a fearsome golem art. It has survived since the 5th Warlock dynasty, yet it still hasn't died. The living golem should be the path to immortality that the golem lord found. Yang Feng frowned slightly, and a pensive look streaked past his eyes. With such formidable power, how could those warlock emperors die? Among the human warlocks of the Tsangji Plains 8 warlock dynasties, Every warlock emperor was a peerless genius of astonishing talent. From the living golem, it can be seen how amazing and terrifying the golem lord's golem art is. However, each of the 8 warlock emperors has lived for no more than 300,000 years, with some even dying after thousands or tens of thousands of years. This is simply unimaginable. The lifespan of human warlocks is indeed much shorter than that of dragons, kindred, high elves, gods, fiends, devils, and the like. However, warlock emperors have evolved to the pinnacle of life forms in the universe. For them to die after a mere thousands or tens of thousands of years is too unreasonable. The golem lord is dead, and I don't want to live anymore. Big brother, you also become a golem and become our companion. The eyes of the pure and beautiful Luo Yen suddenly dimmed and lost their luster, as if she has turned from a person into a weird golem. With a hair-raising smile on her face, she suddenly exploded, and grey golem force shot towards Yang Feng. Suddenly, Luo Ming's eyes lost their luster, burst open, and turned into grey golem force shooting towards Yang Feng. Chapter 624. Yang Feng's face flickered, and he released a level 6 energy shield. The defensive power of the Shizu's energy shield was terrifying. Except for its low resistance to soul, curse, and other phenomenal spells, it was far superior to level 6 single-target spells of ordinary Moonlight Warlocks in other aspects. When the 2 Grey Golem forces slammed into the level 6 energy shield, they strangely passed through the level 6 energy shield, slammed into Yang Feng, and frantically eroded his body. Boom! With a thought from Yang Feng, the 2 parts eroded by the golem forces exploded in an instant, and then the parts eroded together with the golem forces were blasted to pieces. The injured part of Yang Feng's body wriggled and healed quickly, but his expression was unsightly. What a fearsome golem force. It's clearly far from the Moonlight Warlock rank in terms of strength, yet it can still easily penetrate a level 6 energy shield. How fearsome! Although golem forces are far inferior to Moonlight Warlocks in terms of power, but their corrosive force is queer. Even a top Moonlight Warlock will be corroded and turned into a golem if they are careless. Yang Feng frowned and mused. Among the 8 Warlock dynasties, Golem dynasty is a taboo among taboo. At the time, why were the major races so apprehensive of living golems, to the point that even human warlocks cooperated with other races to destroy living golems? I finally understand the reason. This power is really dangerous. Living golems are the crystallization of the golem lord's highest golem art. Wherever golem force passes, all intelligent life forms will be eroded and reduced to the golem lord's golems and toys. This kind of power is too overbearing and terrifying, which aroused the backlash of all powerful beings and races. After the fall of the golem lord, countless formidable races descended on the Zhangji plain and frantically attacked the golem dynasty, killing all the living golems in the golem dynasty. According to legend, only the 3 Empyrean golems and the 12 holy golems were lucky enough to escape and leave the Zhangji plain. Even the golem lord was rumored to have been killed by many warlock emperor rank existences from other planes. He just didn't have any evidence. The warlock emperor realm was the limit that human warlocks could cultivate to. During the long years, humans gave birth to a total of 8 warlock emperors. However, before the rise of humans, the Zhangji plain also gave birth to many warlock emperor rank existences. Each of the 36 primary material planes has a history of more than 10 billion years. In that long history, they have also given birth to warlock emperor rank existences. The primal chaos mother spider, the myriad eyes ogre, the primordial thunder dragon, the 6 heavenly devils, these terrifying existences were on the same level as the 8 warlock emperors. The reason why the 7 warlock emperors are called invincible is because they have defeated existences of the same rank with warlock emperor rank battle prowess, and there are clear records and proof that they have defeated those terrifying existences. Only after the Dawn Lord proclaimed himself an emperor and presided over the Zhangji plain until his death did he not fight with other warlock emperor rank powerhouses, which is why he is considered to be inferior to the other 7 warlock emperors. Compared to the power of other warlock emperors, the golem lord's living golems is as infectious as a virus. If careless, all intelligent life forms will be eroded by the living golems and turned into golems that can only obey their masters. For any warlock, this is a nightmare. Mechanical body? No, it's an avatar constructed from flesh and machinery according to a certain ratio. To think that the human warlock civilization has developed to this point. In the era of the Golem dynasty, there were no such alchemical secret treasures. Undying Mountains. Young Master Lei Ming, your Undying Mountains alchemy really surprises me. Along with the sound of admiration, Jia Yilua slowly walked out of a corner of the city like a gentleman and uttered with a smile. When Yang Feng saw Jia Yilua, his pupils constricted, and he took a few steps back. He activated energy shields and his eyes filled with apprehension. When the Bright World Warlock Sun Tianyang faced Jia Yilua, he was seriously injured and lost an arm. Such a terrifying monster isn't an existence that Yang Feng can contend against. The person next to Jia Yilua is the peerless genius Angelico cultivated by the Western world's Hall of Truth. The peerless genius Angelico, who defeated Yi Yuanyang in the Time Sky City, no longer exudes fluctuations of life unique to human warlocks. Instead, he is deathly still. Yang Feng mused with a complicated feeling in his heart. Angelico died just like this? The affairs of the world are truly unpredictable. The world of warlocks is truly cruel. Angelico is a peerless genius cultivated by the Hall of Truth. He has formed a virtual world, possesses junior Moonlight Warlock rank cultivation base, and is even comparable to a quasi-glorious Dawn Warlock. For such a peerless genius to die silently in this relic site and be reduced to an ordinary golem controlled by the living golem Jia Yilua, it really makes people sigh with emotion at the impermanence of the world. Yang Feng bowed and said respectfully, Mr. Jia Yilua, I'm very sorry for disturbing your sleep. The Undying Mountain is willing to withdraw from the Sword Puppet Holy's dwelling. Please let us leave this place. Jia Yilua showed a mocking smile and said, Since you have seen us living golems, do you think you can leave this place alive? In the outside world, we, living puppets, have countless enemies. Unless the great Golem Lord returns from the Netherworld, we will never appear in the outside world, nor will we let people know of our existence. The Golem Lord isn't dead? He's still in the Netherworld? A thought flashed past Yang Feng's mind, yet he said without batting an eyelid, Since it's like this, then please give me a chance, let me cast a spell. Jia Yilua showed a smile of a cat toying with a mouse and said, Interesting. A trifling Moonlight Warlock dares to challenge me. You're very courageous. I admire you very much. Okay, I'll give you a chance to cast a spell. After I make you my subordinate in the future, I'll give you some autonomy. Jia Yilua can easily defeat a Bright World Warlock and insta-kill a peerless Moonlight Warlock ranked genius like Angelico. For a trifling Moonlight Warlock ranked spell to injure him is nothing short of a pipe dream. Yang Feng took a deep breath, cast wide area sound amplification, and shouted wildly, Alexia, come and save me. Jia Yilua was taken aback. He didn't expect Yang Feng to cast such a spell. With a flash of black light, as if crossing countless spaces, the heroic Alexia with the fallen angel's sword in hand appeared in front of Yang Feng with 3 pairs of black wings. Alexia glanced at Yang Feng and said mockingly, My lord, you're the weakest and most shameless master I've ever served. For a fallen angel like Alexia who lives by fighting, a weak master like Yang Feng is really not someone she likes to serve. A dignified look in his eyes, Jia Yilua uttered solemnly, Spirit summoning. This is a secret method to control Transcendent recorded in the Transcendent text. To cultivate a secret method riddled with flaws like the Transcendent Empyrean imprint, how foolish. No matter how profound the Transcendent Empyrean imprint is, what you've cultivated is just a child imprint, which will eventually be devoured by the parent imprint. Everything you've cultivated will become a gift for the Transcendent Lord. Yang Feng said with a smile, Sir Jia Yilua, you should be well aware of the strength of a blazing angel. You're not her opponent, and my subordinates will be here soon. Spatial transfer won't work a second time. Please open a path for us to leave this place. Jia Yilua smiled and said, Young Master Lei Ming, in terms of strength alone, your blazing angel is indeed stronger than me. Even if I use golem force, I'm not her opponent. Especially when he is on guard, I have no chance at all. However, that's only in a one-on-one situation. The dragon-winged gold eagle that easily transformed more than 300 starry sky rippers descended from the sky and flew to Jiailua's side. More than 300 starry sky rippers appeared beside the dragon-winged gold eagle. A golem with long black hair, a perfectly proportioned figure, and a peerlessly beautiful face, but lacking the vitality of a living person, walked out from a corner with a great sword in hand. Amidst the commotion, countless puppet humans, puppet beasts, puppet insects, and puppet birds were continuously teleported from the city by spatial spells, forming a terrifying puppet army that stretched as far as the eye could see. Jiailua smiled, took a few steps back, and retreated into the golem army. Now it's 1 versus 100 billion. In such a magic ban area, even fallen angels will find it difficult to replenish their power. You have no chance of winning. If you give up resisting, I can give you more freedom. In fact, when the Puppet Lord returns from the netherworld, he can grant you the true power of puppets and become living puppets, like us. The dragon-winged gold eagle golem and the peerlessly beautiful golem also retreated into the golem army and looked at Yang Feng and his party with ridicule in their eyes. Yang Feng looked at the dense golem army with a dignified look in his eyes. In the past, I used a massive mechanical legion to crush the enemy. But now I'm being threatened by countless golems. This experience is really terrible.
Chapter 625. With a flick of his wrist, the ruler magic cube appeared in Yang Feng's hand. He squeezed hard, and the ruler magic cube instantly turned into countless black armor pieces that flew to Alexia and formed a set of armor engraved with mysterious runes that covered her whole body in an instant. As soon as the ruler's magic cube covered Alexia's body, she felt a steady stream of power gushing out from the ruler's magic cube and entering her body. When Alexia sensed the steady stream of power gushing out of the ruler armor, her beautiful eyes shimmered with excitement. What a powerful force! Undying Mountain's alchemy is so powerful. Human warlocks really can't be underestimated. Abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal, who has lived for hundreds of thousands of years, has collected many powerful secret treasures. But in his hands, there isn't a secret treasure that Alexia feels is so suitable for her. Equipped with the ruler armor, Alexia is confident that she can even fight against Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses, and even slay them with her sword. Alexia's heart stirred. It seems that my new master isn't bad. To have such a powerful secret treasure. Alexia, protect me. Let's kill our way out. Leave this celestial body. Yang Feng roared and cast a secret method, and a pair of black wings appeared on his back. With a light flap, he turned into a black stream of light and soared into the sky and flew away from the celestial body. On this strange celestial body, all the vigor of heaven and earth is repelled by magic suppression arrays. As a result, human warlocks can cast very few spells on this celestial body. At the same time, the recovery rate is 10,000 times slower than on the Tsangji plane. Even if Alexia possesses Infinity Warlock rank strength, but facing 100 billion low-level golems, she will exhaust her power and be drowned by the countless low-level golems. Jiailua's eyes flashed coldly, and he roared, "Want to escape? Kill them!" The countless golem insects and birds turned into a black cloud and flew towards Yang Feng. However, Yang Feng's flesh golem possesses Moonlight Warlock rank strength. Furthermore, it relies on the built-in super energy crystals as its energy source, not the vigor of heaven and earth. The countless puppet insects and birds couldn't catch up to him at all. This was where powerful human warlocks were far superior to low-level warlocks. A powerful human warlock could rely on his advantage in speed as well as all kinds of incredible secret methods to toy with countless low-level warlocks. Only the hundreds of starry sky rippers caught up with Yang Feng in a breath of time. Alexia slashed out with her sword, and hundreds of sword rays slashed at the starry sky rippers and sliced them into pieces. Killing intent flashed in Jiailua's eyes. Damn it, let's go. We just need to hold them back. Die. There was a sinister flash in the eyes of the dragon-winged gold eagle, and it flapped its wings and rode a gust of wind. In an instant, it appeared in front of Yang Feng, extended a huge claw shrouded in golem force, and clawed at Yang Feng. The claw of the dragon-winged gold eagle sealed the space. Before the claw touched Yang Feng, despair and fear diffused from him. The smart chip operated frantically, analyzing various ways to evade and resist. No matter what method he used, his survival rate was 0. At the moment when Yang Feng was about to be completely engulfed by the fearsome golem force, a black sword ray that seemed to split a star instantly slashed at the claw of the dragon-winged gold condor. The black sword light cut through the dragon-winged golden condor's claws, which had the strongest defense, like tofu. At the same time, it spread wildly, turning into black lines that spread along the dragon-winged golden condor's huge body.
Despair welled up in the eyes of the dragon-winged gold eagle, and it screamed miserably, "How is this possible? You're just a mere bright world warlock rank blazing angel, how can you slash apart my fleshly body?" The bright world warlock rank blazing angel is indeed extremely powerful, but the dragon-winged gold eagle is also a bright world warlock rank living golem. Its fighting strength is only slightly inferior to that of the bright world warlock rank blazing angel. According to his calculations, it was impossible for Alexia to shatter his body with a single slash. Moreover, it was from the direction of his hardest claws. Along with miserable screams, the dragon-winged gold eagle's fleshly body turned into countless pieces, and a large amount of blood fell towards the ground. "You're too weak. Since you're so weak, then go to hell." Alexia showed a bewitching smile and slashed at a fist-sized golem core hidden inside the dragon-winged gold eagle's fleshly body. The golem core is the life core of a living golem, and it records all the mysteries and information of a living golem. As long as the golem core isn't destroyed, a living golem can use the bodies of other golems to reconstruct its own fleshly body. Although the reconstructed fleshly body is far inferior to its original fleshly body, but over the years, it can devour various materials and other golems to repair its body. As long as the golem core isn't destroyed, a living golem will be immortal. This is the most troublesome aspect of a living golem. It is already very difficult for warlocks of the same rank to destroy the fleshly body of a living golem, let alone their golem core. "Stop!" With a roar, Jiailua flipped his hand, and 2 golem whips made from countless runes lashed towards Alexia like 2 poisonous dragons. As soon as the 2 golem whips lashed out, they suddenly split into hundreds of whips that entered the void and hid in the void like fierce beasts, ready to launch a shocking blow at any time. The peerless beauty puppet moved. As if she was a pinnacle body-tempering warlock, she merged with her sword, turned into a peerless sword, and slashed towards Alexia with frightening might that could split the sky and split the earth. Even an infinity warlock wouldn't dare to let her slash them. Facing the siege of the 2 bright world warlocks, the 3 pairs of black wings on Alexia's back spread, and the ruler armor extended and formed a huge shield. When the peerless beauty golem slashed at the huge shield, mysterious runes erupted on the huge shield, and a fearsome shock wave blasted the peerless beauty golem away. A fallen angel sword containing terrifying dark force slashed at the golem core of the dragon-winged gold condor golem and extinguished the golem core along with its existence. The dragon-winged gold condor golem with bright world warlock rank cultivation base and golem force was slain by Alexia with a single sword strike. In that case, let's die together. Jiailua's eyes flashed fiercely, and the countless golem whips hidden in the void trembled slightly and set off ripples in the space around Yang Feng. At this moment, the void assassins hidden in the void suddenly appeared, and chaotic fluctuations of the void spread from them in an instant. Jiailua's face fell, and an unknown premonition welled up inside him. Shit! The strange fluctuations of the void instantly enveloped the entire space, and the void fell into disorder and devoured the golem whips hidden in the void. Among human warlocks, Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouses generally have mastered part of the law of space, and can walk freely in the void. However, the void is full of dangers, and is not a suitable place for fighting. Once you fight in the void, the slightest carelessness may cause the void to collapse. The most terrifying void collapse can even seriously injure a warlock emperor rank powerhouse. Moreover, there are countless strange phenomena hidden in the void, as well as void beasts that devour everything walking in the void. It is for this reason that once a powerhouse escapes into the void, very few people will pursue them into the void. The chaotic ripples released by the void assassins are equivalent to self-detonation. The void collapse formed by the void assassins devoured everything. Even the golem whips that Jiailua spent countless precious materials to refine are devoured. After killing the dragon-winged golden condor puppet, Alexia's eyes flashed with a scorching light. Her body blurred, and she appeared in front of the peerless beauty puppet holding the great sword. She fiercely slashed her sword at the peerless beauty puppet. The peerless female puppet retreated explosively, and an alternate dimension opened up within her body. Numerous ferocious blade demon puppets pounced madly towards Alexia. The saber demon puppets with blades all over their bodies collided with Alexia's fallen angel sword and were easily cut in half by the fallen angel. The blade demon golems that were cut in half brandished their blades and slashed at Alexia. Alexia frowned slightly, and the fallen angel sword was enveloped in fallen angel fire. With a wave of her hand, a sword ray enveloped in fallen angel fire slashed at the blade fiend golems, igniting them and burning them to ashes one by one. Taking advantage of this moment, the beautiful golem retreated by tens of kilometers and flew into the golem swarm. Countless flying golems rushed towards Alexia. Jiailua spread the fingers of a hand, and golem threads invisible to the naked eye shot towards Yang Feng in the blink of an eye. If Alexia insists on chasing after the beautiful golem, then Yang Feng will be killed by Jiailua with a single move. Chapter 626. What a pity! Alexia sighed regretfully. Her figure blurred, and she appeared in front of Yang Feng and slashed out with her sword, and a sword ray enveloped in dark flames suddenly extended and turned into fallen angel fire, burned the golem threads stimulated by Jiailua to ashes, and then swept towards Jiailua. Countless golems flew out from Jiailua and rushed towards fallen angel fire. As soon as they were touched by fallen angel fire, they began to burn violently, turned into fireballs, and fell from the sky. Hundreds of thousands of golems rushed into fallen angel fire, consumed its power, and blocked it for a moment. Taking advantage of this gap, Jiailua's figure fluttered, and he flew into the midst of countless golems. With an unwilling expression on his face, he looked at Yang Feng and roared wildly, "Do it!" From the countless golems down below, beams, ice cones, bone spurs, venom, and other kinds of attacks barreled towards Yang Feng. Alexia, who is standing next to Yang Feng, spread the fingers of her hand, and a black hexagram shield appeared in front of her. When the various attacks slammed into the hexagram shield, they couldn't even set off a ripple before collapsing and disappearing. Jiailua looked at the invincible god of war Alexia in the sky with shock in his eyes, and he exclaimed, "This is a Bright World Warlock rank Blazing Angel? Impossible! Bright World Warlock rank Blazing Angels are indeed several times stronger than us, but they shouldn't be this strong. Why? Why is she so strong? Blazing Angels are equivalent to human warlocks who have formed a virtual world inside them. They are equivalent to supreme geniuses of the same rank. The golem force of Jiailua's living golems is extremely dangerous and can erode all things. However, in terms of fighting strength alone, these living golems are far weaker than Alexia. That's because they haven't recovered their full strength." With a thought, Jiailua guessed the truth of the matter. That's right, it's that armor-type secret treasure. That armor-type secret treasure had increased his strength by dozens of times. Even in our Golem dynasty, this artifact is one of the top artifacts. Even though Jiailua has guessed the truth of the matter, but he can only watch helplessly as Yang Feng, escorted by Alexia, quickly flew out of the sword puppet holy celestial body. As soon as Yang Feng flew out of the celestial body, he abandoned the flesh golem avatar and returned to his true body with a thought. When Yang Feng returned to his body, he sensed the steady stream of power coming from the small world inside him, and he sighed slightly. Sure enough, it's still my body that gives me a greater sense of security. When I encounter various things, my reaction speed is faster, and I have more means. No wonder many Infinity Warlocks enter various relic sites with their true bodies, it's because the flaws of avatars are too great. Avatars had all sorts of benefits. In low-level adventures, avatars could be said to be extremely heaven-defying existences. Even if an avatar was killed, it wouldn't cause much harm to the main body. But in a high-level battle, especially in front of those terrifying experts who had grasped the law of karma's spells and karma's secret arts, the opponent could attack the incarnation to directly injure the target's true body. If an avatar was used, it would be easy for the opponent to inflict serious damage through the avatar. The relic site of the sword puppet Holy taught Yang Feng a good lesson. If he hadn't been careful and brought Alexia and the ruler armor with him, his flesh golem might have already been killed by now. Perhaps his flesh puppet had already been killed, and his main body had been severely injured by the living puppets, through the law of causality. As soon as he returned to his true body, Yang Feng issued an order. In addition to the battle robots needed to guard the Ligui province, countless battle robots poured out of the Andrak plane and were transported here through a top-grade warp gate. Yang Feng already knew that it wouldn't be that easy to get his hands on the relic site of the Golem dynasty, so he prepared to storm it. It didn't take long for this endless desert to be covered by countless third- and second-generation battle robots. They were like an endless swarm of ants. Standing on a hillside, the Moonlight Warlock Lu Yen from the Great Cloud Dynasty's Relic Site Search Department looked at the almost endless mechanical legion with shock in her heart. 100 million people, is this the underlying strength of the Undying Mountain? To be able to mobilize a 100 million elite legion so easily, they're really formidable. It seems like they've occupied a second-tier or third-tier realm. It's not that the Great Cloud Dynasty doesn't have a legion formed from 100 million Great Warlocks. However, the Great Cloud Dynasty is vast, occupies a lot of land, and needs to guard a lot of places. It's impossible to mobilize a Warlock Legion formed from 100 million Great Warlocks in a short period of time. Of course, the key to victory or defeat in the world of Warlocks mainly lies in the battles between top Warlocks and top secret treasures. The combat prowess of a Warlock Legion formed from 100 million Great Warlocks is indeed terrifying, and even Bright World Warlocks will have a headache. If there are no Infinity Warlocks, then the Great Cloud Dynasty's Infinity Warlocks can use all kinds of incredible secret treasures to easily destroy the Warlock Legion formed from 100 million Great Warlocks. So many Great Warlocks, 100 million Great Warlocks. Is this the underlying strength of the Undying Mountain? No, they all used secret treasures to strengthen themselves to the Great Warlock rank. Even if they used secret treasures to strengthen themselves to the Great Warlock rank, they're still Great Warlocks. That's 100 million Great Warlocks. The Undying Mountain is really scary. The Warlocks hiding in the distance, who were still unwilling to leave, were filled with shock when they saw the battle robots that stretched as far as the eye could see in the endless desert. Many Warlocks who were dissatisfied with Yang Feng's Undying Mountain saw the dense swarm of battle robots, and their strange thoughts were extinguished. Standing on a dais, Yang Feng looked at the 100 million battle robots with a dignified look in his eyes. The 100 million battle robots are Yang Feng's savings over the years. Although with the productivity of Yang Feng's munitions factories, he can produce so many battle robots again within a year, but he doesn't have enough resources to support it. The Andrak Plain is Yang Feng's current base. He can't use destructive mining methods to collect all the resources inside. As the Andrak Plane is a grade 6 plane, the plane origin can devour all kinds of energy to restore itself and give birth to all kinds of ore veins in the plane. Once Yang Feng uses destructive mining methods, although he can obtain a huge amount of resources in a short period of time, but the Andrak Plane's origin will be severely damaged, and may even decline and die. Once the Andrak Plane's origin dies, the celestial body will become a dead celestial body, no longer suitable for intelligent life forms to live in. After countless calculations, Yang Feng finally made a decision. Fortunately, the Ligui province has fallen into my control. Even if all the battle robots are destroyed, but with the resources of the Ligui province, I can restore this mechanical legion in just a year. I can give it a try. That celestial body is the legendary relic site of the sword puppet Holy. Just the 3 living golems are priceless. Great Holy Steppe relic sites are very rare in the Tsangji Plain, and each of them is extremely precious. Great Holy Steppe powerhouses are already supreme powerhouses of many planes. Although they are far from being a match for Warlock Emperors one-on-one, but in a fight between 2 Warlock Emperor-ranked powerhouses, they can be used to overwhelm the other side. In theory, 100 Great Holy Steppe powerhouses joining forces and using an Empyrean-grade secret treasure can barely defend against the attack of a Warlock Emperor. With enough Great Holy Steppe powerhouses and an Empyrean-grade secret treasure, it is even possible to defeat a Warlock Emperor. However, it is extremely difficult for Great Holy Steppe powerhouses to emerge. They are pinnacle existences among Holy Spirit Warlocks. In each era, there have never been 100 Great Holy Steppe powerhouses born at the same time. Moreover, these Great Holy Steppe powerhouses belong to different forces, and it is impossible for them to join forces. Even if 100 Great Holy Steppe powerhouses join forces and use an Empyrean-grade secret treasure, they can only display their strength in a defensive battle. The Warlock Emperor rank powerhouses can naturally use their secret methods to kill the 100 Great Holy Steppe powerhouses one by one. Even so, Great Holy Steppe powerhouses are still pinnacle existences. At the Time Lord only had 12 Great Holy Steppe powerhouses following him. Once a Great Holy Steppe powerhouse comes to the Tsangji Plain, with the current strength of the Tsangji Plain, it is impossible to resist. Even if the human warlocks of the Great Cloud Dynasty and the 3 dynasties join forces, they will find it difficult to contend against a Great Holy Steppe powerhouse. Yang Feng naturally doesn't want to give up the relic site of such a terrifying existence. The resources provided by the Ligui province are enough for Yang Feng to practice cultivation until the pinnacle Bright World Warlock realm. But for warlocks, resources are never enough. If Yang Feng wants to promote to an Infinity Warlock from the Bright World Warlock realm, and then from the Infinity Warlock realm to the Warlock Monarch realm, the resources he needs are astronomical. He can't let go of any opportunity. Attack! Following Yang Feng's order, countless battle robots flew towards the relic site of the sword puppet Holy. The battle robots have activated humanoid camouflage. At a glance, it looks like countless men in black suits turned into a black cloud and flew into the celestial body under the lead of 100 Star Destroyer Battlestars and 20 steel carriers. As soon as the huge mechanical legion entered the relic site of the sword puppet Holy, a fearsome spatial force enveloped it. Chapter 627. The huge mechanical legion released powerful interference ripples that turned the surrounding space chaotic. The strange spatial distortion only lasted for a short while before it collapsed, unable to be maintained. As soon as the huge mechanical legion entered the relic site of the sword puppet Holy, countless golems rushed towards the mechanical legion like raindrops. The Star Destroyer Battlestar's secondary artilleries shone brightly, and a rain of light barreled towards the 100 billion golems down below. Swept by the dense rain of light, over 1 million low-level puppets were turned into flying ashes in a single exchange. Countless Swift Eagle fighters flew out from the 20 aircraft carriers at a terrifying speed, frantically attacking the low-level puppets that were used as cannon fodder. The Swift Eagle fighters are faster than the maximum speed of the Undyings by Mach 5. Moreover, they can fire 3,600 destruction beams per minute. The miscellaneous puppets that were hit by the Swift Eagle mech suddenly exploded one by one, completely smashed into pieces. It was extremely strange. Even if a Bright World Warlock was besieged by the Swift Eagle fighters, they would have to spend a lot of effort to destroy the Swift Eagle fighters. Otherwise, they would be chased or even killed. There was a flash of excitement in Alexia's beautiful eyes. What a powerful weapon! This weapon is indeed the best weapon to deal with small fry and cannon fodder. Alexia is the commander of the Fallen Angel Legion. After tens of thousands of years of campaigning, she advanced to a Bright World Warlock rank Blazing Angel and led a Fallen Angel Legion. In her long life, this is the first time that Alexia has seen the power of the Star Destroyer Battlestar and the Interstellar Carrier. Under the frenzied slaughter of the two weapons, the small fry golems were blasted apart before they could get close. Even if there were some small fry golems that survived the barrage, they would be blasted to death by the Undyings and other third-generation battle robots. The enormous mechanical army was only 100 million, but when it charged into the army of 100 billion puppets, it was like Moses parting the sea, easily slicing apart the army of 100 billion puppets and completely crushing them. Countless golems were crushed by the artillery fire of the Star Destroyer Battlestar, and the rumbling of artillery fire filled the sky and earth. The battle robots scattered all over the place also quickly flew towards the huge fleet. Jiailua looked at the huge fleet in the sky with shock in his heart, so powerful. Was this the foundation of the Undying Mountain? It's indeed terrifyingly powerful. It's starting to resemble the mechanical army of our puppet dynasty. In the early days of the Golem dynasty, there were various Golem armies. Among them, the mechanical Golem army was a sharp sword in the hands of the Golem Lord. It's just that after the Golem Lord developed the living golems, the huge mechanical Golem legion was thrown aside, and the entire Golem dynasty was filled with living golems. It was not that the puppet dynasty's mechanical legion was weak, but the energy required to maintain such a huge mechanical legion far exceeded the energy required to maintain a living puppet legion. Bai Yuxian was within a puppet city, her body covered by a transparent halo of light, and she mysteriously disappeared amidst the countless puppet armies. As soon as the huge mechanical legion flew over the city, countless beams of light, as if divine punishment, blasted into the Golem army down below. The million-strong puppet army was annihilated in an instant, and only a few tens of thousands of puppets were lucky enough to escape. Bai Yuxian looked up at the huge fleet in the sky from inside a building, and her beautiful eyes flashed with shock. Is this the army of the Undying Mountain? The accumulation of hundreds of thousands of years is really extraordinary. To be able to mobilize such a huge army of such a scale. And to be able to create such a powerful secret treasure, how fearsome. As the most powerful warlock dynasty in the Zhangji Plain, the Great Cloud Dynasty has mastered all kinds of incredible secret treasures. It even has the Magic Note Throne, an Empyrean-grade secret treasure that can mass-produce infinity warlocks. Even so, the Great Cloud Dynasty has very few super-large weapons like the Star Destroyer Battlestar. In the world of warlocks, the ultimate goal of all warlocks is to become invincible existences with endless lifespan like eternal sovereigns. Most of the secret treasures were developed with warlocks as their users and templates. After the collapse of the 7th Warlock Dynasty, the Magic Note Dynasty, which is known as the Secret Treasure Dynasty, alchemy methods for forging large warship secret treasures were destroyed in the chaos of war. In the Great Cloud Dynasty, there are indeed some warship secret treasures that are not inferior in power to the Star Destroyer Battlestar, but they are very few in number. Even if the entire Great Cloud Dynasty gathers together, they may be able to find 100 warships that are more powerful than the Star Destroyer Battlestar. Bai Yuxian's eyes turned, and then her figure fluttered, and she flew towards the huge fleet. At the same time, she raised her voice. I am Bai Yuxian, I request an audience with the Undying Mountain's young master. Yang Feng glanced at Bai Yuxian and muttered, what a cunning vixen. Since Bai Yuxian has publicly revealed her identity, Yang Feng can't just fire a Star Destroyer artillery and kill her along with the golems. Since the sword puppet Holy's dwelling is guarded by an old monster like the living golem that has lived for hundreds of thousands of years, it must have some amazing treasures. For Yang Feng, the best outcome would be for everyone but him to die in the sword puppet Holy's dwelling. But since Bai Yuxian has publicly asked for an audience, Yang Feng naturally can't refuse. After all, the Undying Mountain is nominally a subordinate of the Great Cloud Dynasty. Although Yang Feng doesn't take the Great Cloud Dynasty seriously, but he won't easily offend this behemoth in the name of the Undying Mountain. Now that the battle demon Sex Yang Feng has become a traitor of the Great Cloud Dynasty and can no longer travel freely in the world, the identity of the Undying Mountain's young master Lei Ming is indispensable for Yang Feng to travel in the Great Cloud Dynasty in the future. In the midst of the Mechanical Legion, a passageway was opened. At the same time, countless detection lights and scanning ripples enveloped Bai Yuxian like a tide. If there was anything unusual about her, it would be immediately detected. Bai Yuxian calmly let the detection beams and scanning ripples hit her. She is well aware that this will reveal a lot of information about her. But she also understands that if she didn't do this, Yang Feng would never let her board his warship. After numerous scans, Bai Yuxian's figure fluttered, and she came to the deck of Yang Feng's flagship. On the deck of the flagship, there is a luxurious litter. Yang Feng is sitting in the luxurious litter with two beautiful and sexy fallen angels in his arms. His expression is arrogant and overbearing, as if he doesn't care about the 100 billion low-level golems. Bai Yuxian smiled sweetly and said flatteringly, "The Undying Mountain's underlying strength is really amazing. As expected of an ancient great sect. To be able to casually mobilize 100 million elites, this is truly an eye-opener for me." Eyes spewing scorching sparks, Yang Feng bared his white teeth and said, "That's natural. The Undying Mountain has painstakingly operated the Grade 2 plane Death Cloud realm for hundreds of thousands of years, so its underlying strength is naturally deep. I, Lei Ming, came to the Zhangji plane this time to make a great contribution to the Undying Mountain and become its sole successor." Bai Yuxian analyzed quickly. Grade 2 plane, the Undying Mountain originally occupied a Grade 2 plane. No wonder it could develop to this point. But the Death Cloud realm? It's not one of the 36 primary material planes, but another undiscovered Grade 2 plane. In the vast universe, human warlocks have only discovered one Grade 1 plane, the Zhangji plane, and 36 primary material planes. The 36 primary material planes are Grade 2 planes, or rather, superior Grade 2 planes that are infinitely close to Grade 1 planes. Because the 36 primary material planes have given birth to Warlock Emperor rank existences. In addition to the 36 primary material planes, there are also some secondary Grade 2 planes that have been discovered. However, the limit for these secondary Grade 2 planes is the Holy Spirit Warlock or Supreme God rank existences, which is not enough to support the birth of a Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse. Even so, to fully control a Grade 2 plane plus hundreds of thousands of years is enough for an ancient warlock group to develop into a behemoth. Although Bai Yuxian was very intelligent, but Yang Feng's words were full of lies, with practically none of them being true. As such, her analysis was naturally wrong. "Damn it, Lei Ming, I won't let you get away with this." Watching the 100 billion golems being crushed, Jia Yilua's eyes turned bloodshot, and he roared angrily. He opened his maw, and a huge black hole exuding astonishing devour force appeared in his maw and swept in all directions. The hundreds of thousands of great warlock rank golems around Jia Yilua were easily devoured by him, and his body extended and turned into a 100-meter-tall golem giant. The power of the puppet on his body was also rising crazily. Yang Feng said with a cold smile, "Golem fusion, the strongest secret method of a living golem. If you keep devouring them, I'm afraid you'll recover your full strength. Unfortunately, I won't give you that chance. Attack!" The 30-star destroyer battlestars lit up, and 30 beams containing the power of a pinnacle bright world warlock rank powerhouse tore through the void and slammed into Jia Yilua in an instant. Under the might of the beams, Jia Yilua's 100-meter-tall golem giant disintegrated inch by inch. With a flash of black light, Jia Yilua's true body flew out of the golem giant in a sorry state and escaped. Chapter 628. There was a flash of madness in Jia Yilua's eyes, and he roared, "Kong Yilua, Mei Yilua, come and fuse with me. If the three of us fuse, we will be able to destroy these invaders." The living puppets could also fuse with each other, and when the living puppets fused and devoured each other, a higher level living puppet could be born. The Puppet Lord's 3 Emperor-level puppets and 12 Saint-level puppets were the ultimate puppets that were born from countless living puppets, devouring each other, fusing with each other, and strengthened by countless secret techniques and resources. Sound waves spread in all directions and enveloped the entire relic site. The beautiful female puppet with the saber in her hand frowned slightly, and her body swayed before she disappeared. Kong Yilua, who can freely manipulate space and appear anywhere in the Sword Puppet Holy's relic site, also didn't appear. There was a flash of madness in Jia Yilua's eyes, and he roared, "You don't want to fuse with me? This is a betrayal, a blatant betrayal of the Sword Puppet Holy. How dare you betray Master's orders? You traitors!" No matter how Jia Ilua roared, Yang Feng commanded the 100 million mechanical legion to clear a path through the encirclement of the 100 billion golems and flew towards the center of the relic site. In the center of the relic site, there is a huge 10,000-meter tall mountain suspended in the air. At the summit of the huge mountain, there is a dwelling. The closer they got to the huge mountain, the more frantic the golems became. But under the bombardment of the almost endless artillery fire, the golems were destroyed before they could even get close to the huge fleet. Bai Yuxian looked at the huge mountain with a complicated look in her beautiful eyes. This relic site of the sword puppet holy is extremely dangerous. Moreover, it is enchanted with rare karma spells and magic ban arrays, as well as countless low-level golems and at least 3 bright world warlock rank living golems. Even if an infinity warlock enters this relic site, if careless, they will die, be eroded, and become the prey of this relic site. Such a powerful ruin was actually destroyed by him in such a way. I really don't know what to say. The relic site of the sword puppet holy is full of dangers. There are karma spells that can sever the connection between avatar and true body, magic ban arrays that can prevent warlocks from absorbing the energy of heaven and earth, and more than 100 billion low-level golems and bright world warlock rank living golems. Even if an infinity warlock comes here, they will die if they don't escape. Such a dangerous relic site was flattened by Yang Feng's mechanical legion of more than 100 million strong, and he slaughtered his way to the center of the relic site. Bai Yuxian had seen the development of ruins many times, but this was the first time she had seen such a violent, ferocious, and completely unreasonable battle. The ruins of the sword puppet great saint were indeed full of dangers, and there were terrifying restrictions everywhere. However, when they encountered restrictions, Yang Feng had the battle robots test them, and then used the Star Destroyer artillery to blast the restrictions to pieces. After paying the price of about 2 million battle robots being destroyed, Yang Feng killed his way to the huge Golem Mountain. As if ants, starry sky rippers flew towards the Golem Mountain. The starry sky rippers are bait to probe the restrictions of the Golem Mountain. When the dozens of starry sky rippers flew above the Golem Mountain, as if a mighty force enveloped them and pulled them towards the Golem Mountain. Eroded by an unknown force. After analysis, there is a 99.9% chance that it is a restricted space array from the Golem Dynasty era. At the same time, it is also equipped with a gravity array and a friend or foe identification system. As soon as the starry sky rippers landed on the Golem Mountain, a large amount of information was analyzed by the Level 3 optical computer. Yang Feng asked, "Can you fully analyze the arrays on the Golem Mountain?" A line of information was transmitted from the Level 3 optical computer chip. With the current data in the database, it is impossible to analyze and crack the various arrays on the Golem Mountain. According to the analysis and calculations, the arrays are arranged by a powerhouse surpassing the Great Holy Step. According to the analysis of the characteristics of this era, the Golem Mountain should have been enchanted by the Golem Lord. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with doubt, and he brought up the holographic projection of the Golem Mountain. The Golem Lord? Why would he appear on the Golem Mountain and enchant it with a spell? When the holographic projection of the Golem Mountain took shape on the deck, countless strange and mysterious runes containing the laws of heaven and earth appeared on the holographic projection. Bai Yuxian only took a look at the holographic projection before her complexion changed greatly, and she screamed in horror, and 2 streams of blood flowed out of her eyes. "Stop. Otherwise, we will all be turned into golems." Yang Feng only took a look at the holographic projection of the Golem Mountain, when gray gas covered him, and his body and thoughts began to stiffen. Yang Feng's complexion changed greatly, and he ordered at once, immediately cut off the projection. Strange runes appeared on the projectors, and they showed no signs of stopping. Strange runes appeared on Yang Feng and Bai Yuxian, eroded their life force, and transformed it into golem force. Jia Ilua's strange laughter came from afar. "Haha, Lei Ming, you idiot. This Golem Mountain is a supreme divine mountain that the sword puppet holy asked the Golem Lord for a gift. It's not something that you descendants of traitors can come into contact with. You're dead." Not daring to confront Yang Feng head-on, Jia Ilua can only hide in the dark and urge the 100 billion golems to fight Yang Feng. However, with his bright world warlock rank cultivation base, he can easily see Yang Feng even from thousands of kilometers away. So this is the means of a warlock emperor, how strange. Yang Feng wanted to close his eyes, but he couldn't. As if he was sucked into the holographic projection of the undying mountain, countless runes formed a strange rune that sealed his greatest trump card, the small world, and cut off all his life force, leaving him unable to move even a finger. A black sword ray flashed and slashed the holographic projection of the Golem Mountain. Containing the law of darkness, the sword ray destroyed the holographic projection of the Golem Mountain from its roots. Boom! 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 The holographic projectors exploded, and the holographic projection of the Golem Mountain collapsed and disappeared. Yang Feng breathed a sigh of relief, looked at Alexia standing beside him, and revealed a smile. The Golem Lord is indeed powerful, but unfortunately, he is dead. No matter what means he left behind, he can't stop the living. Equipped with the ruler armor, Alexia's battle prowess is comparable to that of an infinity warlock. Moreover, the dark force grasped by fallen angels is a kind of nothingness force, which can slay all existences from a higher dimension. This is the essence of fallen force. As a bright world warlock who has experienced countless battles, she has a good grasp of fallen force. It is because of Alexia that Yang Feng dares to enter this dangerous relic site with his true body. Otherwise, he would only enter a relic site with such a high degree of danger with his true body after reaching the bright world warlock realm. Jia Ilua smiled ferociously and entered the Golem army stealthily. All the secret treasures of the sword puppet holy are in the dwelling at the top of the Golem mountain. If you have the ability, go in and take them. Yang Feng raised his eyebrows and sent the third-generation battle robots Undyings flying towards the Golem mountain. As soon as the Undying reached the Golem mountain, it immediately fell. Like a bug entangled in a spider web, it struggled to climb up, but before it could climb more than 100 meters, it was eroded by the gray aura and turned into a puppet. Yang Feng creased his eyebrows slightly and ordered, "Fire." A dense rain of light beams shot out from the Star Destroyer battlestars and slammed into the Golem mountain. When the energy beam that could easily kill Moonlight warlocks slammed into the Golem mountain, it disappeared, leaving no trace on the mountain. The Level 3 optical computer quickly made an analysis. All the energy beams were absorbed by the Golem mountain. It is not recommended to continue attacking with low-level energy beams. Yang Feng uttered decisively, "Fire the Star Destroyer artilleries." The 30 Star Destroyer battlestars lit up, and 30 Star Destroyer artilleries fired beams barreling towards the Golem mountain. One shot from the Star Destroyer cannon could shatter the plane wheel of a Grade 9 plane, and another shot could blast the plane into pieces. Even in the Zhangji Plain, the Star Destroyer artilleries can easily pulverize a 10,000-meter tall mountain. Facing the 30 Star Destroyer artilleries, even Infinity Warlocks would have to retreat, not daring to resist them head-on. When the 30 beams slammed into the Golem mountain in an instant, runes shone on the Golem mountain, which has been motionless until now. 30 strange hexagrams suddenly appeared and blocked the 30 beams of light from the Star Destroyer cannons. When the 30 Star Destroyer artilleries slammed into the hexagrams, they entered the hexagrams, and then disappeared. After the Star Destroyer artillery's beams disappeared, the hexagrams disappeared as well. But the Golem mountain remained motionless and exuded a strange aura. When Yang Feng saw this scene, he frowned and looked deeply at the top of the Golem mountain. Even the Star Destroyer artilleries have no effect. This Golem mountain is indeed a terrifying existence strengthened by the Golem Lord. Chapter 629. Looking at the Golem mountain from afar, Yang Feng frowned deeply, feeling the terror of a warlock emperor. The Golem mountain is just a secret treasure-like mountain that the Golem Lord refined using a secret method. After hundreds of thousands of years, it has become very weak. But Yang Feng, who has nearly 100 million battle robots, has no way to deal with the Golem mountain. Even if Yang Feng fills it with all his battle robots, they will only be reduced to golems of the Golem mountain. Haha, Lei Ming, on top of the Golem mountain lies the ultimate mystery of the sword puppet holy. However, even if I tell you, You won't be able to get it. Even if you have hundreds of millions of troops, we will destroy your legion step by step. Jia Ilua's ferocious laughter came from afar, and Grey Golem Chi silently hit a dozen-plus starry sky rippers. The dozen-plus starry sky rippers were instantly turned into golems, and then beams mercilessly slammed into them and tore them to pieces. For Yang Feng, the dozen-plus starry sky rippers are nothing. However, Jia Ilua used this method to express his determination not to give up. The relic site of the 6th Warlock dynasty, the Golem dynasty, is a vast celestial body. Jia Ilua is an aboriginal of this celestial body, so he can engage in guerrilla warfare with Yang Feng and destroy his battle robots. This is the most troublesome aspect of powerful warlocks. If you can't kill a powerful warlock, then you will have a headache if you engage in guerrilla warfare. Yang Feng doesn't care about Jia Ilua's threat. The tracking methods of warlocks are equally strange and impossible to guard against. Once Yang Feng takes full control of this relic site, he can mobilize warlocks proficient in tracking to kill Jia Ilua and the other Bright World Warlock rank golems. If Jia Ilua and the others escape, then that's fine. But if they stay here, only death will await them. After Huang Yihe and the remaining Infinity Warlocks of the 10 Great Sects besieged the Whale Marshal, they disappeared. One of the main reasons is that they are worried about being hunted down by the Demon Hunting Division. The Demon Hunting Division is proficient in all kinds of tracking methods. At the same time, it has many divination warlocks. Even Huang Yihe and the other Infinity Warlocks don't dare to expose their whereabouts easily. If he is careless, he will be directly suppressed by the powerhouses of the Great Cloud Dynasty. The various monsters on the Demon Hunting Division's wanted list of the Great Cloud Dynasty don't dare to easily cause large-scale massacres in the Great Cloud Dynasty. Otherwise, they will be in danger of being killed by the Demon Hunting Division. After many monsters committed several shocking tragedies in the Great Cloud Dynasty, they would be chased by the Demon Hunting Division to the ends of the earth. They either fled to other planes or were subdued by some bigwigs of the Great Cloud Dynasty and became their lackeys. With the Ligui province under his control, Yang Feng can establish an organization similar to the Great Cloud Dynasty's Demon Hunting Division. Killing old antiques like Jia Ilua and the others was no problem at all. Looks like I can only use that trump card. If it doesn't work, I can only give up on the Puppet Mountain. There was a flash of unswerving determination in Yang Feng's eyes. He spread the fingers of a hand, and countless devourers flew out from his right hand and turned into a black torrent flying towards the Golem Mountain. Bai Yuxian's eyes suddenly dimmed, and she sank into darkness. Unable to perceive anything, she realized that there are some things that Yang Feng doesn't want her to see. As soon as the countless devourers reached the Golem Mountain, they began to devour the power of the Golem Mountain. A queer rune suddenly appeared, and Grey Golem force eroded the devourers. As if the Golem Mountain turned into a living golem, endless golem force spread towards the devourers. The black mass of devourers opened their mouths and inhaled. A strange suction force gushed out from their mouths and absorbed all the puppet power into their bodies. Countless queer runes lit up on the devourers, and the connection between them and Yang Feng flickered, as if it could be broken at any time. The Golem Force is a wisp of the Warlock Emperor rank power of the Golem Lord, and it represents the strongest power of the Tsangji Plains Warlocks. The Devourers, on the other hand, are the crystallization of the highest technology of the Shizu, and they also possess unfathomable power. The two strongest forces intertwined, and for the time being, the victor couldn't be decided. A dignified look in his eyes, Yang Feng's Devourers suddenly flew out, turned into a black insect cloud, flew into the Golem Mountain, and frantically devoured the Golem Force. Yang Feng silently recited an incantation and spewed out a large mouthful of blood essence, which turned into a bloody mist, and entered the Devourers in accordance with the laws of the underworld. Strange runes suddenly appeared on the carapace of the Devourers. These runes are Devour runes Yang Feng created by combining countless secret methods, and they are runes that belong solely to him. As soon as the runes appeared, the Devourer became even more ferocious and completely devoured the Grey Puppet Force. Behind them, the incomparably strange runes became even clearer. At the same time, they gave off an extremely mysterious aura. Jiailua, who is hiding in the distance, was struck dumb, and his eyes flashed with incredulity, and he muttered, "Impossible, that's golem force poured into them by the golem lord. How can there be something that can devour them? This is impossible." The golem force possessed by the golem lord is the highest level of power in the endless plains. Even for other warlock emperor rank powerhouses, it is a highly toxic poison. Although other warlock emperor rank powerhouses have the ability to resist the erosion of the golem lord's golem force, but they cannot devour it. The devourers are beings Yang Feng refined using Empyrean grade secret treasure materials coupled with the highest Shizu technology. Moreover, they are the core of Yang Feng's warlock path. Yang Feng used countless treasures of heaven and earth and various secret methods to nourish them into monsters. This is why they can devour the golem lord's golem force. After the devourers devoured and refined the golem force, they trembled and finally evolved, and the runes on their backs became even stranger. The golem force of the golem mountain poured into the devourers like a breached dam, causing the devourers to swell up and exude ferocious and fearsome auras. If the golem lord's true body existed, he could use all kinds of incredible secret methods to erode the immature devourers one by one and turn them into his golems. However, the golem force, which has no control over warlocks, cannot stop the devourers from devouring it. After the 10,000-meter-tall and magnificent golem mountain lost the blessing of golem force, the restrictions inside it lost their light. Before long, the golem force on the golem mountain was completely devoured by the devourers, and then the countless devourers turned into a black insect cloud that flew into Yang Feng's small world, absorbed a copious amount of energy, and began to evolve a second time. A starry sky ripper flew to the foot of the golem mountain, followed the path opened by the devourers, and headed towards the summit of the golem mountain. Bai Yuxian's beautiful eyes shimmered with enigmatic light, and her gaze fell on the reception hall on the summit of the golem mountain. The sword puppet holy's treasure, even if it is a holy grade secret treasure, is enough to suppress the destiny of a great sect and become the underlying strength of a great sect. Although the Golem dynasty was famous for its golem arts, but as the sixth warlock dynasty, the Golem dynasty also gave birth to many powerful secret treasures. There were only a few secret treasures refined by great holy step powerhouses in the Bai family. Fearsome auras rose, and the bright world warlocks of the three dynasties, the two great sects, the 8 great families, and some rogue cultivators turned into streams of light and rushed towards the Golem mountain. When the bright world warlocks fought against the golems in this relic site, they didn't use too much power. Instead, they used concealment secret methods to hide themselves, and then at the last moment, they attacked and competed for the sword puppet holy's treasure. There are more than 20 bright world warlocks gathered here. The forces of the bright world warlocks spread throughout the Zhangji plain. Even Yang Feng doesn't dare to risk universal condemnation and order the Star Destroyer artilleries to bombard these bright world warlocks. Every bright world warlock is a great elder of a huge force, and their status is extremely lofty. Unless you have a complete falling out with a force and form an irreconcilable enmity, no warlock group will easily kill the bright world warlocks of another warlock group. Yang Feng's heart stirred, and he carefully sized up the reception hall and mused, and his eyes shimmered with a dignified gleam. Countless third-generation battle robots turned into streams of light flying towards the reception hall and collecting the various treasures in the hall. The hall is full of the style of the 6th Warlock Dynasty Golem Dynasty and uses countless rare materials. At the same time, in the rooms of the hall, there are specimens of extraordinary life forms above the Moonlight Warlock rank. The specimens of extraordinary life forms contain a part of the blood essence of extraordinary life forms, and there are even specimens of Bright World Warlock rank extraordinary life forms. If the specimens of extraordinary life forms were to be sold outside, then each specimen could create a formidable Blood Meridian Warlock family. The specimens of extraordinary life forms, however, can't attract the attention of the Bright World Warlocks. They all flew towards the main hall. Countless third-generation battle robots were quickly moving the specimen and everything of value out of the hall. Chapter 630. Huang Ling slayed the Golem Lord here. Future generations may not break this seal. As soon as the hundreds of warlocks from different forces broke into the center of the hall, they saw a giant stele engraved with blood-colored runes sitting on the side of the hall, exuding the breath of a primeval beast and containing the law of heaven and earth. The Golem Lord was slain. How is this possible? Huang Ling, who is he? There is no such person in history. When the warlocks who broke into the hall saw the bloody runes engraved on the giant stele, their countenance changed dramatically, and they commented spiritedly. The Golem Lord is the master of the 6th Warlock Dynasty Golem Dynasty. He is invincible. Since he ascended to the throne, he has never been defeated. After the Golem Lord ascended to the throne, he once slayed a Warlock Emperor rank existence and refined the Warlock Emperor rank existence into the leader of the 3 Empyrean Golems, which is also the strongest among the 3 Empyrean Golems, the Demon Empyrean Golem. Since the Dark Emperor Golem was successfully refined, the Warlock Emperor ranked powerhouses hidden in the Endless Plains have retreated when they encountered the Golem Lord, allowing human warlocks to set foot in the Endless Plains, conquer countless planes, and obtain endless resources. The Golem Lord is recognized as one of the 7 most powerful human warlocks in the Zhangji Plain. Such a terrifying existence was actually killed by someone. It was simply unbelievable. Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit. What? Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit? Where is it? Where is it? Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit. Excited voices sounded at once, and the warlocks no longer looked at the giant stele, but looked for traces of Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit. Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit is a god-grade treasure of heaven and earth that requires the blood essence of a Warlock Emperor-ranked powerhouse, a special secret method, and a special seed to be born. Just one of these treasures of heaven and earth is enough to break through the Heaven-Man boundary and make a human warlock's soul aptitude rise from superior level 7 to superior level 8. According to legend, when 10 Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruits are used together, they can break through the God-Man boundary and promote the soul aptitude of a warlock from superior level 8 to inferior level 9. Among the 8 warlock emperors, except for the Dawn Lord whose soul aptitude was superior level 8, the other 7 warlock emperors' soul aptitude was the legendary level 9. One could easily imagine the value of the Emperor Wish Blood Essence Fruit. Even Holy Spirit Warlock and Warlock Emperor ranked powerhouses will be tempted by the Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit. The Bright World Warlocks swept the hall with their eyes and saw a flower pot on a platform in the center of the hall. The flower pot is engraved with countless mysterious runes, and there is a pot of crimson blood inside the flower pot. Wisps of Empyrean might spread from the crimson blood. In addition, there was a 3-meter-long black saber that had been broken into 2 pieces on the platform. A terrifying murderous aura radiated from the black saber. Obviously, it was a top-grade artifact. Suddenly, the inscription on the stele released rays of light, and a transparent barrier suddenly appeared, setting off ripples on the barrier's light membrane. The bloody words on the stele seemed to be enraged, and the word Desolate Spirit suddenly formed a bloody blade that cut through the void and slashed lightning fast. A glorious sun warlock who has just cast a spell was cut in 2 by the bloody blade without the power to resist. All his blood essence was extracted, and all his life force was extinguished. The blood essence entered the word Desolate Spirit and returned to the stele. Karma Spell. All of the glorious Dawn Warlock's life-saving spells were destroyed, and he was killed at the source. This is the power of a karma spell. What a fearsome spell. Even if the person who set up this stele isn't a Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse, he probably isn't far from it. This relic site has existed for hundreds of thousands of years. After such a long time, yet it still possesses such great power, how fearsome. Seeing this scene, the surrounding warlocks inhaled a breath of cold air. Karma spells are spells that pinnacle human warlocks above the Infinity Warlock rank must master. Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses have all kinds of incredible death substitution secret methods. As long as a drop of blood survives, many Infinity Warlocks can be reborn and restore their strength step by step. Pinnacle human warlocks among Infinity Warlocks have mastered karma spells that can kill the enemy from the root. Through avatars, and the like, they can attack the enemy. Therefore, when facing enemies of the same rank or enemies with karma weapons, many Infinity Warlocks won't use avatars, and the like. Instead, they prefer to fight the enemy with their true body. The strange steel engraved with bloody characters unexpectedly possesses a karma spell. Clearly, it is a restriction set up by an ordinary Infinity Warlock. The Bright World Warlocks looked at the strange steel with a dignified shade in their eyes. Karma spells were the most fearsome spells. They could completely erase the existence of Warlocks and doom the Warlocks hit by karma spells. Death substitution secret methods will hardly work. Only some death substitution secret methods that contain the law of karma may be able to escape this disaster. Yang Feng has a god avatar in the Feisua plane. Originally, if his true body died, his avatar in the Feisua plane wouldn't be affected. He can be reborn on the god avatar. But if he is killed by a karma spell, then once his true body dies, his avatar will die as well. This was the terror of the law of causality magic. Bartoloni looked carefully at the strange steel for a while, then carefully cast a few detection spells on the steel, and said solemnly, "This steel does have formidable power. But under the erosion of time, its remaining power is limited. If we join forces, we can destroy this steel. Let's join forces to destroy this steel, and then compete for the treasures inside. How about it?" The rest of the warlocks agreed, "Okay." There was a fierce flash in Claudi's eyes, and he threatened fiercely, "If anyone doesn't attack this steel, then after the barrier is broken, they won't be qualified to compete with us for the treasures inside. Such a person, get out now, otherwise, we will join hands to kill you." The warlocks in the hall hesitated for a moment, and then most nodded in agreement with Claudi's proposal. The dozens of Moonlight Warlocks and Glorious Sun Warlocks weighed the pros and cons, and then took a deep look at the treasures in the hall, and then blurred into motion and flew to other places in the hall. Although the Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit and the other secret treasure in the center of the hall are extremely precious, but they have to compete with the Bright World Warlocks. Since the Moonlight Warlocks and Glorious Sun Warlocks admit that they aren't a match for the Bright World Warlocks, they chose to give up. In the hall, there are still many Moonlight Warlocks and Glorious Sun Warlocks. Their eyes shone with ambition as they stared at the two precious secret treasures in the hall. The Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit can break through the Heavenman boundary and give people superior level 8 soul aptitude. Once taken, many Glorious Sun Warlocks will advance to the Bright World Warlock realm without any suspense, and may even advance to the Infinity Warlock realm. Among the trillions of life forms in the continent, the number of freakish geniuses born with superior level 8 soul aptitude can be counted on one hand. On average, only one such freakish genius is born every 1,000 years. Most of the geniuses with superior level 8 soul aptitude, like Yang Feng, used various treasures of heaven and earth to promote to this level. A peerless treasure like the Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit is something that can only be encountered by chance. Go! Bartoloni roared, silently recited an incantation, pointed with a finger, and a black ray shot towards the steel. The rest of the warlocks also chanted incantations, cast a variety of spells, and shot towards the steel. The blood-red words on the terrifying stone steel surged and released a vast power, condensing into a 10-meter-long blood-red blade. As soon as the huge bloody blade appeared, it was hit by various spells. Countless runes entangled the huge bloody blade, preventing it from slashing down. There are more than 20 Bright World Warlocks present, including pinnacle Bright World Warlocks from the 3 dynasties, 2 sects, and 8 families. When they join forces, they can even quell an Infinity Warlock. Even though the huge bloody blade can slay a Bright World Warlock, but under the siege of more than 20 Bright World Warlocks, it finally trembled and collapsed. As soon as the huge blood blade collapsed, the entire stone tablet also shattered inch by inch. "You'll regret this." A helpless sigh sounded at the moment when the steel shattered. Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit. With a flash of greed in his eyes, a Bright World Warlock extended his hand, and a mage hand extended towards the Empyrean Origin Blood Essence Fruit. The broken sword placed on the platform in the center of the hall may be a holy grade secret treasure, But compared to a god-grade treasure of heaven and earth like the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit, it is not comparable at all. For warlocks, treasures of heaven and earth that can enhance their strength are far more important than holy-grade secret treasures. As soon as the mage hand touched the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit, it was blocked by a barrier, and all its power was devoured by the barrier. Sure enough, there's a barrier. Of course. If there wasn't a barrier, the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit would have withered a long time ago. Amid the discussions, the bright world warlock's eyes turned bloodshot, and they blurred into motion, turned into streams of light, and rushed towards the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit. Chapter 631. The Empyrean origin blood essence fruit is mine. The fastest bright world warlock grabbed the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit, and his eyes shimmered with ecstasy. Along with flashes of magic light, dozens of powerful spells slammed into the bright world warlock. The bright world warlock was petrified at first, then covered in black curse breath, and finally chopped into pieces by wind elemental particles. A bright world core flew out of the bright world warlock ranked powerhouse, turned into a meteor, and fled towards the outside. Ignoring the bright world warlock who was killed, the other bright world warlocks are still fighting over the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit. These bright world warlocks are geniuses among geniuses of major forces. After countless fortuitous encounters and endless hard work, they have become bright world warlocks. However, most of them will stop at the bright world warlock realm in their lifetime, unable to advance any further. The Empyrean origin blood essence fruit, however, can greatly enhance their soul aptitude and promote to the infinity warlock realm, which is why they are so crazy. In the Tsangji plane, infinity warlocks are already the most powerful existences. Even if they go to any of the 36 primary material planes, they will still be top existences. At present, infinity warlocks are the masters of the Tsangji plane. Although they are both great elders, the right to speak between infinity warlocks and bright world warlocks is completely different. Most importantly, once you advance to an infinity warlock, the lifespan of human warlocks will increase by thousands or even 10,000 years. The glorious sun warlocks and moonlight warlocks just glanced at the bright world core, and then gave up on the idea of capturing it. With their strength, they aren't strong enough to keep a bright world core. A lily-white hand descended from the sky and grabbed the bright world core. Countless black runes extended from the lily-white hand and sealed the bright world core. When the warlocks who had some thoughts about the bright world core saw the owner of the lily-white hand, their countenance changed dramatically, and all their thoughts disappeared. The owner of the lily-white hand is Alexia, the #1 expert under Yang Feng's command. Since the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit was so precious, it naturally attracted Yang Feng's attention. However, he knew his own limitations very well. Him going to fight for the Empyrean origin blood essence fruit was tantamount to courting death. Only then did he send Alexia out. Yang Feng is protected by Zhan Hongtao, the #1 expert of the Zhan family of the 5 heavenly lords. Under Yang Feng's command, the strongest bright world warlock is Alexia and the second strongest is the great elder of the cool breeze abode Zhao Qing. However, Zhao Qing was an elemental warlock. In this anti-magic domain, his strength was indeed the weakest. Yang Feng chose to have Zhan Hongtao act as his guard. There seems to be something wrong inside. Alexia, get out immediately. This is an order. Yang Feng looked at the chaotic scene in the hall through the holographic projection, his face flickered, his eyes flashed with graveness, and he ordered. Most of these bright world warlocks have gone through countless battles, carved out a bloody path from among countless geniuses, and finally reached the top. Many of them are wily old foxes. But now they have clearly fallen into an abnormal frenzy. They cast all kinds of powerful spells, as if the other party is their father's murderer. At the same time, through his soul perception, Yang Feng could clearly perceive a very abnormal killing intent gushing out of Alexia's soul. Evidently, she has been affected by the spell unknowingly. A fierce glint flashed past Alexia's eyes, and then she finally sighed and suppressed her desire to fight. The black wings on her back flapped, and she turned into a black stream of light and flew out of the hall. Just before Alexia was about to leave the hall, the 10,000-meter-tall mountain suddenly shook wildly and collapsed inch by inch, and a 100-meter-wide giant hand emerged from the collapsed rocks and extended towards Alexia. Incomparably violent puppet power extended from the giant hand, sealing the void and suppressing everything. It was as if it wanted to turn everything in the world into puppets and crush Alexia. Alexia's pretty face, which has always been calm, finally changed color. The 3 pairs of black wings on her back unfolded, and she frantically extracted the power of the ruler magic cube and slashed at the giant hand with her sword. A black sword ray carrying dark force that can make people fall into the abyss slashed at the giant hand and cut open a huge hole. Alexia's figure flickered, and she frantically fled out of the huge hole. All of a sudden, a finger of the giant hand that was cut in 2 broke off, shot out, and pointed at Alexia's back like a giant. Alexia spewed out a large mouthful of blood in an instant. A copious amount of golem force intertwined on her body and eroded her body. As if a goose shot by a bow, she fell powerlessly from the sky. Yang Feng ordered decisively, "Attack!" Star Destroyer battlestars shone brightly, and Star Destroyer artilleries slammed into the 100-meter-tall giant hand. Under the bombardment of the Star Destroyer cannons, the 100-meter-tall giant hand crumbled inch by inch. The terrifying puppet power on the giant hand also crumbled frantically. An Undying picked Alexia up from the ground and flew to Yang Feng's flagship at Mach 25 speed in an instant. Wisps of golem force frantically eroded Alexia. Even with her dark force, she cannot suppress the fearsome golem force. Yang Feng frowned and spread the fingers of a hand, and a swarm of black devourers flew out and pounced on Alexia. The black devourers sucked and absorbed the puppet power in Alexia's body like a whale swallowing a mouthful of water. "Thank you." Alexia suddenly felt her body relax. She got up and took a deep look at the black devourers, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with enigmatic light. The golem force unleashed by the Golem Mountain is terrifying. Even though Alexia possesses Infinity Warlock rank strength thanks to the ruler armor, but she still cannot resist the erosion of the golem force. If it wasn't for Yang Feng's help, it would take Alexia at least 1,000 years to completely dispel the golem force, and her strength would drop greatly. The Black Devourer easily devoured Alexia's puppet power, causing her to take the Devourer seriously. As if a peerless fierce beast had awakened from its slumber, a huge bloody maw appeared in the hall, opened its maw, and swallowed all the warlocks still fighting in the hall in one gulp. Yang Feng's face fell, and he calculated in his mind, "Damn it, this is a trap. There's such a monster sealed in this relic site. Should I flee, or fight?" The Golem Mountain is clearly a formidable existence sealed by a powerhouse far beyond the Infinity Warlock rank, and that powerful existence has now awakened from the seal. Yang Feng's face changed several times, and then he finally gritted his teeth and ordered, "Curses, now I can only destroy it with all my strength." The Ligui province is the largest territory Yang Feng has seized and the most resource-rich territory, far surpassing that of the Andrak Plain. If that terrifying existence is allowed to descend upon the Ligui province and start a massacre, Yang Feng is not its opponent. Yang Feng is not his opponent. He can only take advantage of his weakened state to suppress him and truly control the Ligui province. Celestial obliteration cannons descended from the sky and bombarded the Puppet Mountain. Amidst the beam of the Star Destroyer cannon, the Puppet Mountains crumbled inch by inch, revealing a 5,000-meter-tall, half-naked giant with countless strange runes engraved on his body. His body was extremely shriveled, his eyes were lifeless, and there was a wriggling black lump of flesh where his heart should be. The giant exudes a breath far beyond the Infinity Warlock rank. If a warlock below the Moonlight Warlock rank looks at it, they will be eroded by the breath of death. If they are careless, they will turn into a lunatic. Bai Yuxin's pretty face fell, and she cried out, "Desolate God Giant, this is the most powerful weapon of the Archgod era, a Desolate God Giant, and a Holy Spirit Warlock rank Desolate God Giant at that." In the Archgod era, Desolate God Giants were powerful weapons made by archgods. Just like angels, braves, and other weapons made by gods. The most powerful Desolate God Giants even possess Holy Spirit Warlock rank strength. After the Time Lord dominated the Zhangji Plain, the previous masters of the Zhangji Plain, the archgods, were either slain by him or fled the plain. Now, desolate god giants rarely appear. Only in some archgod relic sites will one or two desolate god giants appear. Even so, Holy Spirit Warlock rank desolate god giants are very rare. Yang Feng's face fell, and he gritted his teeth and said, "Holy Spirit Warlock. How terrible! Holy Spirit Warlocks are extremely powerful. Even the weakest Holy Spirit Warlock, as long as there is a drop of blood flowing in their body and a trace of strength left to fight, they can slay an Infinity Warlock with a spell. In front of a Holy Spirit Warlock, a Moonlight Warlock like Yang Feng is an ant." Yang Feng ordered, "Use all computing power to analyze his weaknesses at once." No matter how powerful an existence was, they would be in their weakest state after being sealed for hundreds of thousands of years. It was impossible for them to be in an unscathed state. This is my only chance. Chapter 632. Within Yang Feng's territory, all level 3 optical computers began to rapidly analyze the weaknesses of the desolate god giant. Billions of calculations and analyses were performed every second. Based on the life fluctuations emitted by the desolate god giant, its fleshly body is dead. What sustains its existence is the piece of flesh at its heart. According to the data in the current database, that piece of flesh should be the remaining piece of flesh of a Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse. The piece of flesh is parasitizing the desolate god giant's fleshly body and absorbing the power of the desolate god giant's fleshly body to sustain its existence. Now it is at its weakest. It is recommended to attack the heart. According to the analysis of life fluctuations, the warlocks it devoured haven't died yet. It is recommended to rescue them. Otherwise, once it devours enough power, our chances of winning will drop infinitely. Yang Feng ordered, "Attack! Kill it!" The swift eagle fighters flying out of the carriers fired countless destructive beams that slammed into the desolate god giant's huge mouth. Each destructive beam only poked a toothpick-sized hole in the desolate god giant's mouth. However, under the siege of hundreds of thousands of swift eagle fighters, hundreds of thousands of toothpick-sized holes appeared in the desolate god giant's mouth. Hundreds of thousands of starry sky rippers flew towards the mouth of the wild god giant like ants and slashed at the mouth of the wild god giant. However, each slash only managed to cut a thin layer of skin off the wild god giant's mouth. Countless lightning flashed, and the lightning manipulators electrocuted the thin layer of skin on the desolate god giant's mouth, turning it into ashes, leaving nothing behind. Many powerful beings possess fearsome immortality. Even if their head is cut off, even if only a drop of blood is left, they can still be reborn. Since Yang Feng hasn't mastered the law of karma, he can only use the stupidest and most effective method to crush every cell of the desolate god giant. In this way, even if the desolate god giant can be reborn quickly, it will consume a lot of power. It can't absorb the thin layer of skin cut off by the starry sky rippers to recover. A single starry sky ripper could only scratch a thin layer of the desolate god giant's skin, but under the frenzied attacks of hundreds of thousands of starry sky rippers, a huge hole was carved in the desolate god giant's mouth. Magic light shone, and warlocks flew out of the desolate god giant's mouth. These warlocks are covered in strange mucus, and their aura is extremely weak. The aura of some bright world warlocks has dropped to the glorious dawn warlock realm. As for Moonlight Warlocks, most of them have died, with only Enlin and a few other Moonlight Warlock supreme geniuses remaining. As soon as the warlocks flew out of the desolate god giant's maw, they fled outside the relic site without looking back. They are well aware of the terror of Holy Spirit Warlock rank desolate god giants. If it wasn't for Yang Feng, the 20+ Bright World Warlocks would have been devoured by the desolate god giant. The desolate god giant suddenly opened its eyes. Those numb eyes suddenly glowed with a glimmer of light. It struggled to open its mouth slightly and took a deep breath. A black light enveloped Bartolone, and he was sent flying towards the maw of the desolate god giant. Bartolone's eyes flashed with despair, and he screamed, "Save me! Save me! As long as someone saves me, I'm willing to offer all my assets to him. Rays of magic light flashed on Bartolone's body in an attempt to resist that terrifying suction force. But no matter what secret method Bartolone cast, he still couldn't resist the black light. In an instant, Bartolone was swallowed by the desolate god giant. The desolate god giant made a chewing motion with difficulty, and Bartolone's bright world warlock rank aura disappeared. Seeing this scene, the warlocks inhaled a breath of cold air, and then frantically performed various secret methods and fled outside the relic site. Attack! The dense swarm of battle robots formed a dark cloud of steel, pounced on the desolate god giant, covered it completely, and peeled off its skin bit by bit. At the same time, lightning flashed and charred the peeled-off skin of the desolate god giant. Millions of main battle robots pounced on the body of the desolate god giant, madly attacking the lifeless desolate god giant. The outer layer of the Holy Spirit Warlock rank desolate god giant's skin was shredded at once, revealing crystal-clear white jade-like bones exuding sacred majesty. The Undyings and Starry Sky Rippers brandished their sabers and slashed at the sacred bones, producing ear-piercing sounds. The sabers in their hands were chipped, but they couldn't harm the sacred bones at all. When Yang Feng saw this scene, his eyes flashed with shock. What a strong monster! Is this a Holy Spirit Warlock rank desolate god giant? It's really fearsome. The swords in the hands of the Undyings and Starry Sky Rippers are third-generation swords, which are virtually indestructible. Even if a Bright World Warlock stands still, they will easily slay them. Although the desolate god giant is a Holy Spirit Warlock rank freak, but it died hundreds of thousands of years ago after all, and there isn't much power left in its bones. Under such circumstances, the desolate god giant's bones are still so powerful that Yang Feng's third-generation battle robots can't do anything to them. This is simply terrifying. Since I can't destroy it, then I'll devour it. With a thought from Yang Feng, a large swarm of devourers turned into a black insect cloud and pounced on the desolate god giant's bones. When the devourers pounced on the desolate god giant's bones, they frantically devoured the remaining power inside the bones. Originally, the devourers couldn't devour the power inside the desolate god giant's bones. But after they devoured part of the golem force left behind by the golem lord, they evolved and became more terrifying, which is why they can devour the remaining power hidden inside the desolate god giant's bones. Devourers are the most powerful Shizu technological creation. They are completely different from Undyings and Starry Sky Rippers, which are standard weapons. They are one of the ultimate Shizu weapons that can automatically evolve and continuously adjust to become stronger. Devourers are the most difficult weapons to manufacture among Shizu technology, and the reason lies in the materials. Only Empyrean-grade secret treasure materials such as mysterious gold god iron can be manufactured into devourers and become the body of devourers. Other materials simply can't bear the constant evolution of devourers. The swarm of devourers pounced on the desolate god giant's bones and frantically devoured the power inside the desolate god giant's bones. Devoured by the devourers, the desolate god giant's bones began to slowly wither and turn into dust. Strange runes suddenly appeared on the limbs and bones of the desolate god giant. A gray attractive force came from the desolate god giant's heart and frantically absorbed the remaining power inside the desolate god giant's bones. With a flash of gray light, the desolate god giant's huge body turned into dust and scattered on the ground. A giant gray egg appeared in the desolate god giant's heart and devoured everything, including the 20+ Undyings surrounding the giant gray egg. Disperse! Yang Feng's face flickered, and he issued an order, and countless battle robots dispersed together with the Undyings. A giant gray egg that was engraved with countless strange runes and shrouded in a layer of gray aura appeared in front of everyone. It was as if it was growing stronger with every passing moment. Golem Lord! That's the great Golem Lord! The only and supreme master of all of us, living puppets. Kong Ilua, Mei Ilua, come out and protect our great master. With a flash of light, Jia Ilua appeared in front of the giant gray egg, a look of excitement, awe, worship, respect, and other emotions on his face. A spatial ripple flashed, and a human-like little boy, who looks about 13 or 14 years old, walked out of the void and looked at the giant grey egg with adoration in his eyes. With a flash of grey light, the peerlessly beautiful puppet, who was even more beautiful than many human beauties, came before the giant grey egg with a saber in her hand. Her beautiful eyes were filled with adoration. Yang Feng looked at the three living golems with apprehension in his eyes. What an amazing golem spell! Is this the Golem Lord's living golem spell? Sure enough, it's weird and terrifying to the extreme. Hundreds of thousands of years is enough to erase the loyalty of countless human warlocks. No matter how loyal a human warlock is to another warlock, in this dark and silent Golem City relic site, their loyalty will gradually change. The three living puppets obviously had human-like intelligence, but even after hundreds of thousands of years, they were still loyal to the Golem Lord, and they did not hesitate to die for him. This was definitely the power of magic. Fire! Yang Feng ordered promptly. A beam from a Star Destroyer artillery barreled towards the giant grey egg like a hammer of divine retribution. Jia Ilua and the other two living golems showed looks of ridicule, and then scattered, allowing the beam from the Star Destroyer artillery to slam into the giant grey egg. A strange grey rune pattern appeared on the giant grey egg, and wisps of the mysteries of the law of karma diffused from the grey rune pattern. When the beam from the Star Destroyer artillery slammed into the rune, it disintegrated inch by inch, turned into the purest energy, and was absorbed into the giant grey egg. Chapter 633. After the giant grey egg absorbed the Star Destroyer artillery's beam, it became more powerful, and the aura it exuded became more terrifying. I am the Golem Lord. You lowly ants, you dare to attack me? Do you want your race to be exterminated? Wisps of aura far beyond this world, as if they could suppress the universe, diffused from the giant grey egg. A tyrannical thought reverberated in the minds of all the warlocks. The Golem Lord. It's the Golem Lord. Did the Golem Lord resurrect? The human warlocks hiding in the relic site felt their blood run cold, and they cast spells and fled into the distance. Although the Golem Lord was the Warlock Emperor of the 6th Warlock Dynasty, a great hero of the Zhangji Plains humans, who led the Zhangji Plains human warlocks to defeat countless powerful enemies, occupied one plain after another, and founded a prosperous and resplendent warlock dynasty. But after all, he was a figure from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Besides, he has just awakened from a sealed state. Clearly, he needs a lot of energy to recover. The human warlocks here are probably the best meal for the Golem Lord to recover his strength after his resurrection. Among the 8 warlock emperors, the Time Lord was recorded in history as the most honorable, flawless, and perfect like a saint. Due to the darkness he experienced in his early years, the Taboo Lord was bloodthirsty, cruel, and belligerent. Except for those closest to him and his subordinates, he didn't regard anyone else as a human. The Transcendent Lord was a temperamental, cruel, and belligerent powerhouse whose hands were stained with blood. The Star Lord was a peerless powerhouse who liked to guide the younger generation. He wasn't bloodthirsty, but yearned for light and justice. If the Time Lord, the Star Lord, and the Dawn Lord were divided according to camps, they belonged to the good lawful camp. The Magic Note Lord and the Death Lord belonged to the neutral lawful camp. The Taboo Lord, the Transcendent Lord, and the Golem Lord belonged to the evil lawful camp. If the Golem Lord was in his heyday and in a good mood, he may not have attacked the human warlocks. However, he had been sealed for hundreds of thousands of years. Once the seal was broken, he would be in his weakest state. At this time, there is an 80% chance that he will attack other human warlocks and turn them into nutrients for him to recover his strength. Naturally, the human warlocks will flee in fear. If the Time Lord, the Star Lord, and the Dawn Lord broke out of the seal, they would attract countless human warlocks to serve them. Because they will never kill or devour human warlocks. Puppet Master. Young Master Lei Ming, if it's him, we have no chance of winning at all. I'm sorry, I can only escape first. A hint of fear appeared in Bai Yuxian's beautiful eyes. She silently chanted an incantation, and a pair of wings that were as thin as a cicada's wings that were engraved with countless strange incantations appeared. With a light flap of those wings, she flew into the distance at the terrifying speed of Mach 20. The Golem Lord is a warlock emperor-ranked powerhouse, and his fierce reputation is forged with the blood of countless powerhouses in the universe. If there is an Infinity Warlock rank powerhouse with an Empyrean-grade secret treasure, they may be able to suppress him who has just awakened from the seal. But here, there is no Empyrean-grade secret treasure that can suppress the Golem Lord. As such, Bai Yuxian wisely chose to escape. Golem Lord? If you were in your heyday, I wouldn't be your opponent. However, since you are my enemy and have just awakened from the seal, then I'll send you on your way and let you sleep forever. Yang Feng's eyes flashed fiercely, and he flicked his wrist, and the secret treasure Shoot the Heavens bow he obtained from the relic site of the brilliant sage appeared in his hand. Violent world force poured into the Shoot the Heavens bow from the world ring inside Yang Feng, and a vast aura containing the mysteries of karma slowly diffused from the Shoot the Heavens bow. The secret treasure Shoot the Heavens bow is a mystical secret treasure containing the mysteries of the law of karma. To operate this secret treasure, world force is required. This is a peerless secret treasure that can only be used by human warlocks who have formed a virtual world inside them. The two bright world warlocks Alexia and Zhan Hongtao are 100 times stronger than Yang Feng, but they can't use the peerless secret treasure Shoot the Heavens bow. Mysterious runes lit up on the Shoot the Heavens bow. Countless runes condensed on the Shoot the Heavens bow, and an arrow that seemed capable of piercing through everything condensed on the bow. The world force of the small world inside Yang Feng was frantically extracted, and the diameter of the small world shrank and collapsed by a large margin. The extremely violent power of the world poured into the Shooting the Sky bow through the ring of the world. Submit to me, and I will grant you endless glory, splendor, wealth, and great power. But if you are my enemy, then I will wipe out your entire family. A tyrannical voice came from the huge egg, and it was as if no one in the world could resist it. The voice containing a wisp of Empyrean might poured into Yang Feng's mind and shook his sea of knowledge, as if it wants to shatter his sea of knowledge. As if a giant hand, a tyrannical might grabbed his heart, and intense pain spread from his heart. It seems like if he doesn't agree to the fearsome voice, he will be crushed to death. Under the pressure of the domineering voice, every cell in Yang Feng's body wailed in fear, cried, and pleaded for him to submit to the Golem Lord, kneel at the feet of the Golem Lord, and beg for his forgiveness. Yang Feng clenched his teeth, his eyes flickered coldly, and he barked, "What a fearsome Golem Lord! What a freak! Fortunately, I have already promoted to a Moonlight Warlock. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be able to resist your might. But now, go to hell. Once you enter the Moonlight Warlock realm, you are a transcendent rank powerhouse." As a Moonlight Warlock, Yang Feng is already a transcendent rank powerhouse. Even if it is a Warlock Emperor rank might, it is impossible for him to lose the ability to resist. An incomparably dazzling arrow pierced through the void and pierced the giant grey egg in an instant. The giant grey egg burst out with countless runes, a giant grey diagram engraved with countless runes suddenly appeared, and wisps of karma aura emerged. When the arrow hit the giant grey diagram, the karma spell, Penetrate Everything, and the karma spell, Absolute Defense, fiercely collided. The giant grey diagram trembled slightly, and a huge hole was broken open. In the blink of an eye, the arrow slammed into the giant grey egg and stabbed into it. An incomparably mournful scream came from within the giant grey egg. A copious amount of grey mucus sputtered in all directions from the giant grey egg. A destructive and chaotic force erupted from the giant grey egg in an instant, and then exploded, and a copious amount of mucus and fragments sputtered in all directions. A weird monster that looks like a skeleton, its internal organs exposed, its body fluctuates between strong and weak, and it exudes Empyrean might. But its life force fluctuates between the Bright World Warlock and Moonlight Warlock realms. In the location of the weird monster's heart, there is a drop of scarlet blood, from which wisps of Empyrean might seeping out. After the arrow containing Yang Feng's essence, chi, and soul was shot out, his hair turned pale in an instant, and as if he lost all his strength, he fell to the ground. A fallen angel quickly stepped forward, picked Yang Feng up, and placed him on the litter, preventing him from collapsing powerlessly. Yang Feng stared at the drop of blood in the monster's heart and said unhurriedly, "You are not the Golem Lord, but a drop of blood of the Golem Lord." Warlock Emperor rank existences are really terrifying. To think that a drop of blood can possess such frightening power. No, I am the Golem Lord. I am the master of this world, the only Warlock Emperor in this world. All of you, come and fuse with me. There was a flash of madness in the monster's eyes. It opened its leaky mouth and roared crazily. Its hands turned into layers of afterimages, and strange runes appeared on its hands. The three living golems Jia-Ilua, Kong-Ilua, and Mei-Ilua split open from the heart, chest, and dantian respectively, and three golem cores containing all their power flew towards the monster. As soon as the three living golems lost their golem cores, their bodies collapsed inch by inch. However, they still wore hair-raising smiles of happiness on their faces, as if it was a supreme glory. Alexia, who is equipped with the ruler armor, spread the 3 pairs of fallen angel wings on her back, and violent dark force surged inside her. In an instant, she appeared in front of the monster and slashed out with her sword. The sword light, which contained a terrifying dark force, instantly split apart and pierced towards the 3 puppet cores. No matter what kind of existence the monster is, it must absorb the 3 golem cores to recover its strength. Destroying the 3 golem cores can prevent the monster from recovering its strength. The monster showed a twisted and sinister smile and stared deeply at Yang Feng. "It's no use. You dare to attack me? You're dead. No matter how powerful your subordinates are, you're dead." The 3 golem cores exploded in an instant, and 3 fearsome forces erupted in an instant. The monster pointed at Yang Feng and silently recited an incantation, and grey gas turned into a torrent sweeping towards Yang Feng in an instant. Zhan Hongtao's face suddenly fell. He blocked in front of Yang Feng, silently recited an incantation, took out a level 8 secret treasure dragon turtle shield, blocked in front of Yang Feng, and opened a huge magic barrier. Chapter 634. With a thought from Yang Feng, a gold magic cube appeared in his hand. The gold magic cube quickly disintegrated and turned into a set of gold armor that protected him. The gold magic cube is called Gold Rampart. After Yang Feng plundered the Ligui province, he used an infinity core to refine it into a top-notch magic cube armor. The Gold Rampart's ability is defense. Although its buff to the wearer is less than 1% that of the ruler magic cube, but in terms of defense alone, its defense is more than 10 times that of the ruler magic cube. Whether it is curses, elemental attacks, soul attacks, specter attacks, or other attacks, it can resist them and reduce the power of warlock attacks. Almost at the same time, the relic site of the 6th Warlock dynasty radiated resplendent light, countless runes lit up, and mysterious power entered the grey gas. When the strange grey gas slammed into Zhan Hongtao's barrier, it easily passed through the barrier and enveloped Yang Feng. A strange whirlpool appeared behind Yang Feng and engulfed him in an instant. Another whirlpool appeared behind the monster and engulfed it. After the 2 whirlpools engulfed Yang Feng and the monster, they twisted and disappeared in an instant. Alexia's figure fluttered, and she flew to Zhan Hongtao's side and frowned, asking, "What spell is this?" There are all kinds of incredible spells in the world of human warlocks. Alexia, who has lived for more than 100,000 years, doesn't dare to say that she can recognize all human warlock spells. Zhan Hongtao pondered for a while, and then shook his head and said, "I don't know. I have never seen or heard of this spell. It's simply incredible. It should be the most mysterious and unfathomable karma spell. Karma spells are the most mysterious and unfathomable spells. This is a terrifying spell that only a small number of peerless geniuses among Infinity Warlocks can master. Bright World Warlocks, no matter how powerful they are, cannot comprehend karma spells. Infinity Warlocks who have mastered the law of karma, even if they haven't formed a virtual world inside them, they can contend against Infinity Warlock rank Blazing Angels and Infinity Warlocks who have formed a virtual world and other fearsome existences." Zhan Hongtao smiled bitterly. "However, the only thing we can be sure of is that the Lord is not dead yet. Otherwise, we would have all fallen by now. Yang Feng doesn't trust Zhang Hongtao and the other Bright World warlocks who were forced to surrender and submit. He has tampered with their souls. Once Yang Feng dies, the soul of Zhang Hongtao and the other Bright World warlocks will shatter and die. In this way, Zhang Hongtao and them will risk their lives to protect Yang Feng. Zhang Hongtao looked at the residence of the great saber sage and the ruins that were suspected to contain the existence of the puppet lord. His eyes shone with a scorching light as he said slowly, "This time, if his lord hadn't been affected by the spell, it would have been perfect." In the ruins of the puppet dynasty, there were more than 100 billion puppets. After the 3 living puppets fell, all the remaining puppets stopped moving. The remaining tens of billions of puppets have now been reduced to Yang Feng's spoils of war. He can use them to study the 6th Warlock dynasty's golem force. In addition, the celestial body relic full of the 6th Warlock dynasty's style contains countless secrets of the 6th Warlock dynasty as well as various resources. They can easily make up for the consumption of Yang Feng's army. Where is this? Feeling dizzy, Yang Feng slowly opened his eyes, rubbed his temples, and looked around. He saw that he is sitting on a throne in a luxurious hall, and wisps of demonic chi pervade the hall. Yang Feng's face changed dramatically, and he panicked. What's going on? How did my strength drop to such a level? Level 3 Warlock, how did my strength drop to that of a level 3 Warlock? What about the small world? I can't sense the existence of the small world inside me. The greatest advantage of human warlocks who formed a small world was that no matter where they went, they could rely on the small world inside them to display terrifying battle prowess. For example, if the abyss was full of abyssal force, then when gods descended with their true bodies, they would need a special god armament to resist the erosion of the abyssal force. As such, very few deities would descend upon the abyssal plane with their true bodies. Human warlock experts who formed a virtual world, on the other hand, could freely walk in the abyss and display their strongest strength without being weakened. Claws, what's going on? I shouldn't have implanted the bloodline of a claw-type extraordinary life form inside me. Yang Feng looked down and saw a pair of huge claws brimming with malevolence in his hands. He frowned slightly, then silently recited an incantation, pointed with a finger, and cast the level 0 spell mirror image. A huge mirror appeared in front of Yang Feng at once, and his figure was reflected in the mirror. In the mirror, a tall and burly demon expert with a pair of horns, a pair of claws, and strange runes engraved on the right side of his face appeared. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with doubt. Demon? How did I turn into a demon? I have never implanted demon bloodline inside me. I have to go out and see what kind of world this is. With a thought, Yang Feng got up from the throne and strode outside. As soon as Yang Feng walked out of the reception hall, he saw 2 ox-headed demons standing on both sides of the hall. When the 2 ox-headed demons saw Yang Feng, they knelt on one knee and said respectfully, "Greetings, Your Majesty." Yang Feng said coldly, "Tell the supervisor to come see me." One of the ox-headed demons left at once. "Yes. Your Majesty." Yang Feng turned around, returned to the throne in the reception hall, and sat down. "Greetings, Your Majesty." Before long, a handsome demon man with a pair of horns on the head, a pair of wings on the back, and a refined temperament came to Yang Feng, knelt on one knee, and said respectfully. Sitting on the throne, Yang Feng propped his face up with his right hand, looked askance at Orcus, and said coldly, "I want an outstanding beauty to appear here within 10 minutes. Although Orcus couldn't figure out Yang Feng's intentions, but he still responded respectfully, "Yes, Your Majesty." 5 minutes later, a beautiful succubus with a pair of goat horns on her head, purple hair, and black leather clothes that exposed most of her snow-white skin. The leather clothes only covered a few parts of her body. She was a sexy and beautiful succubus with a pair of goat horns on her head and purple hair on her head. She wore black leather clothes that only covered a few parts of her body. Yang Feng said, "Orcus, take your leave." Orcus took his leave respectfully. "Yes. Your Majesty." Yang Feng silently recited an incantation, spread the fingers of a hand, and quickly set up a silence barrier. Then, he pointed at the succubus, who isn't even a level 1 warlock, and cast the level 3 spell Dominate a low-level extraordinary life form. Gray light enveloped the succubus, and her eyes glazed over and lost their luster. She fell into Yang Feng's control. Yang Feng asked lightly, "What's your name?" The succubus answered, "Yanni." "Who am I?" Yanni's eyes flashed with fanaticism. "You are the Anmo Kingdom's Demon King, Your Majesty." Yang Feng continued to ask, and soon obtained a lot of information from Yanni. This world is called the Eternal Continent. In the Eternal Continent, there are 6 races: demons, dragons, humans, elves, dwarves, and beastmen. At present, demons occupy the northern part of the Eternal Continent, occupying almost 1/3 of the Eternal Continent's territory. They have 5 demon kingdoms: the Anmo Kingdom, the Horn Demon Kingdom, the Feyma Kingdom, the Sea Demon Kingdom, and the Claw Demon Kingdom. The Anmo Kingdom was the strongest demon kingdom. The previous kings of the Anmo Kingdom were all demon kings, while the 4 great demon kingdoms were the vassals of the Anmo Kingdom. At the same time, the kings of the 4 great demon kingdoms were demon grand dukes. In the Eternal Continent, humans and demons are mortal enemies. The humans are extremely weak, and are not the opponents of the demons. However, every once in a while, a hero, a prophet, a magister, a great priest, an archer, a knight, a thief, and other terrifying professions would be born among the human race. They would form a terrifying squad and kill the Demon King. As if it's fate, no matter how powerful the Demon King is, or how many troops he has, he will be killed by the human heroes. The demon army collapsed under the inhuman combat power of the hero squad, and was driven to the northern part of the Eternal Continent. In the Anmo Kingdom's royal library, Yang Feng is quietly reading a book called The History of the Demon Race, and he frowned slightly. The first hero was a hero named Arc Light. He killed the first Demon King and led the rise of the human race. The second hero's name was the Hero of Time. He killed the second Demon King. The third hero is called Taboo. He killed the third Demon King. The fourth hero is called Transcendent. The fifth hero is called Star. The sixth hero is called Death. The seventh hero is called Golem. The eighth hero is called Magic Note. The names and order of these heroes are really interesting. In addition to the Dawn Lord, the 7 Warlock Emperors have all appeared. Besides, there is also a name that isn't a Warlock Emperor. All the Demon Kings have fallen to the hero's sword. Is this fate, a causality law spell, or an illusion? Where is this? Is this really the Eternal Continent? As Yang Feng read the information about the Anmo Kingdom, he frowned slightly, and an unclear premonition welled up in his heart. A haze enveloped his heart and didn't disperse for a long time. Chapter 635. Within a few days, Yang Feng cast various spells, conducted various experiments, read a lot of information, and understood his current situation. Yang Feng hasn't forgotten the spells he learned in the Zhangji Plain, and he can easily construct level 1 to level 3 spell models with the help of that body. Moreover, all kinds of magic spells of the devil race didn't even need to be constructed and could be directly released. In the Eternal Continent, there are no magic stones. Demons rely entirely on their talent to practice cultivation, similar to bloodline warlocks. Advanced demons are rare, and every adult advanced demon possesses level 1 warlock rank strength. Inferior demons are the most numerous, and most of them are apprentice warlock rank warriors. Therefore, bloodline is very important among demons. The limit of power in the Eternal Continent is the legend rank. The strongest demon lords and heroes of the past are legend rank powerhouses. Among demons, only the Anmo Kingdom's kings have legend rank bloodline. The kings of the Anmo Demon Kingdom naturally became the Demon King of the demon race, wielding the power of the demon race. In the Anmo Kingdom's royal library, Yang Feng strolled around and looked at the dazzling array of books in the royal library, analyzing the strange things that happened to him. Yang Feng thought of the monster that exuded Empyrean might and brought him to this place. I'm the demon lord, then the hero, could it be that guy? Also, what kind of spell is this? Why is it so weird? Besides, I've never heard of such a spell. There is no record of this in the Lei family's plane study. According to Zhang Guang's plane 3 theorem, my soul should have transmigrated to this plane. But this is clearly my body. The compatibility between my soul and my body is above 100%. Apart from the fact that it is weakened by a mysterious force and I can't sense the small world inside me, this body is my true body. Is it an illusion? A top illusion? But if it is a top illusion, then since I've already noticed that I've been hit by an illusion, then there should be flaws in this world. It shouldn't be so real. Yang Feng racked his brains, but couldn't come up with a valuable conclusion. His eyebrows couldn't help but be shrouded in a haze. Fate algorithm. What a big tone. Yang Feng swept the bookshelf with a glance, gave a slight smile, picked up a black magic book, and swept it with a careless glance. Fate was a law that surpassed even time. According to legend, all living creatures would be manipulated by fate and struggle in the web of fate. Even Warlock Emperor rank powerhouses struggled desperately in the fate net, and eventually died one after another. Yang Feng merely glanced at it, and his expression of disapproval immediately disappeared. With a dignified expression, he immersed himself in the study of the magic book. Blue veins bulged on Yang Feng's head, and countless formulas, characters, and runes flashed in his eyes, shrouding him in a mysterious aura. 7 days and 7 nights. Yang Feng, as if bewitched, was attracted by that magic book and forcibly read that magic book for 7 days and 7 nights. He, who was originally extraordinarily handsome, had also become haggard. His eyes were lifeless, as if everything had been sucked away. On the 8th day, Yang Feng finally revealed a trace of a smile, fell to the ground, and fell into a deep sleep. After sleeping for a day and a night, Yang Feng woke up. After returning to the palace to take a bath and eat, he returned to the royal library again. Holding the magic book in his hand, Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a scorching shade. Fate algorithm, I didn't expect that there would be such a peerless secret method in this world. No wonder warlock emperors would enter this strange world. Just the value of one of the 6 incomplete volumes of Fate algorithm is more precious than that of many Empyrean grade secret methods. Although the 6 incomplete volumes of Fate algorithm didn't record any offensive secret methods, but its value was even greater than that of the time text for Yang Feng. Its value was comparable to that of Yang Feng's secret method Primal Chaos Imperishable Body. By mastering Fate algorithm, Yang Feng will be able to foresee fortune and misfortune, pursue good fortune, and avoid calamity just like a top divination warlock. At the same time, he could use the Fate algorithm to deduce the opponents he wanted to pursue, the locations of various secret treasures, and various actions. Then let me deduce the future fate of the Demon Lord. Yang Feng silently recited an incantation and pointed with the fingers of a hand, and a miniature universe shrouded in specks of starlight containing endless darkness suddenly appeared. The specks of starlight trembled slightly and blurred, and then the miniature universe began to collapse. Strange symbols appeared at the same time as the miniature universe collapsed. Finally, at the moment when the miniature universe collapsed, an image of Yang Feng's heart being pierced through by someone holding a holy sword appeared, and then collapsed and disappeared. Yang Feng frowned. 10 years later, I will be pierced through the heart by the hero with a holy sword. The holy sword is a karma weapon. Once the heart is pierced through, there is no way to survive. In other words, my fate is already predetermined. This is the will of the world and the fate of the demon lord of this world. This is the trend of the times, and cannot be violated. What an incomparably vicious spell. Through the Fate algorithm, Yang Feng has already calculated that this world is real, not an illusion, not a curse, and not a soul transmigration. His fleshly body was sucked into this world, and under the interference of the freak known as the Golem Lord, he became the demon lord of this world destined to fall. No matter how Yang Feng struggled, he could not escape the fate of the demon lord being pierced through the heart by the holy sword. The holy sword, on the other hand, was a treasure formed from the supreme laws controlled by the previous heroes. It contained the mysteries of the law of karma. Once the holy sword pierced through the heart, a legendary powerhouse would definitely die. There was a knock on the door outside the library. Yang Feng said lightly, "Come in." The sexy and beautiful succubus Jenny walked in gracefully and said respectfully, "Your Majesty, the 4 dukes have arrived." Yang Feng uttered coldly, "Tell them to go to the Demon Lord Hall and wait." Jenny replied respectfully, "Yes, Your Majesty." Yang Feng came to the throne of the Demon Lord Hall, sat down, and looked down with a dignified gaze. There are 4 people standing below the throne. They are a demon expert with a single horn, a demon expert with a pair of black wings on the back, a demon expert with gills on his face, and a demon expert with a tiger-like rune on his head. The 4 demon experts are all male, and they have pinnacle level 3 warlock rank fluctuations of power. They are the 4 demon dukes, Benicio, Villa, Corona, and Gummin. When the 4 dukes saw Yang Feng, they knelt on one knee and saluted respectfully, "Greetings, Your Majesty." Although Yang Feng only has a pinnacle level 3 warlock cultivation base, but he is recognized as the demon lord of the demons. He is the target of allegiance of the 4 demon dukes. "Benicio, I want a lot of various metals to be forged into these components." Yang Feng flicked his finger, and a piece of magic paper flew to Benicio. Countless characters flew out of the magic paper and appeared in the void. Benicio replied respectfully, "Yes. Your Majesty." "Villa, I need information on the other 5 races, mainly on the human race. In particular, information on the human hero and the holy sword." Villa replied respectfully, "Yes. Your Majesty." Corona, Gummin, immediately command the army to surround the elves. The 2 dukes responded respectfully as well, "Yes, Your Majesty." When Yang Feng saw the 4 dukes obey his orders, he revealed a look of satisfaction. He wasn't a demon monarch in name only, but a demon monarch who could mobilize the power of the entire demon race. This was his only advantage in this world. Whether I live or die depends on what I do next. I must break the cage of fate and become the man who controls fate. Otherwise, only death awaits me. Eyes flashing with scorching fighting spirit, Yang Feng got up from the throne and pressed his hand, and a tremendous amount of life magic energy gushed out of the hall and filled the hall like a sea. The Anmo Demon Kingdom was originally built on top of a demon vein, which was filled with incomparably powerful life form mana. Although the Anmo Kingdom had no magic stones, but it could still give birth to legend-rank demon experts by relying on the power of the magic vein. Yang Feng took a deep breath, and his body turned into a huge black hole that frantically devoured the life magic energy in the hall. His aura rose steadily, and in the blink of an eye, he broke through the boundary of the level 3 warlock rank and promoted to the great warlock rank. Benicio's eyes flashed with fanaticism, "Legend, that's amazing. As expected of His Majesty the Demon Monarch. To be able to promote to a legend so easily." Villa's eyes also flashed with astonishment, "That's a demon monarch's bloodline for you, it's really powerful." Corona sighed slightly, and a complicated look flashed in his eyes. Sure enough, only His Majesty the Demon Monarch can easily break through the boundary and promote to a legend. Gummin stared at Yang Feng with awe and jealousy in his eyes. "Legend, how great would it be if I could also promote to a legend?" The 3 demon dukes had level 3 warlock bloodline, which enabled them to promote to level 3 warlocks. But because of the bloodline shackles, even though this place was full of life magic energy, they couldn't break through, and couldn't absorb even a trace of life magic energy. After Yang Feng's aura reached the pinnacle legend rank, he could no longer absorb a trace of life magic energy. A look of regret streaked past Yang Feng's eyes. The pinnacle legend rank is the limit of this world. Once you break through the pinnacle legend rank, you'll be rejected by this world and leave this world. Unfortunately, if there are no accidents, then no life form in this world can break through the pinnacle legend rank and leave this world. This is the shackles of the world's will. Chapter 636. The Flame Dragon mountain range was a mountain range inhabited by all kinds of formidable demonic creatures. Reportedly, the master of the mountain range was an adult flame dragon. Only top adventurers dared to venture into the Flame Dragon mountain range. Dressed in adventurers' unique equipment and carrying a unique greatsword on his back, Yang Feng strode through the Flame Dragon mountain range. An arrow formed from starlight guided him forward. The arrow formed from starlight was the embodiment of Yang Feng's fate algorithm. Suddenly, furious roars of demonic beasts and berserk fluctuations of magic power came from afar, as well as the sounds of fighting. Yang Feng's eyes lit up and he revealed a smile. His figure shook slightly and he flew in that direction. I found a star of fate. After a few breaths of time, Yang Feng appeared on top of a large tree. Hiding in the dense foliage, he looked outside. In a forest, a female adventurer with a golden ponytail, a sexy and voluptuous figure, smooth skin, and a hint of a heroic aura was fighting a berserk demonic bear. She held a spear in her hand and had a golden ponytail. Her skin was smooth as if it was coated with a layer of honey. The female adventurer's strength was around that of a level 3 apprentice warlock, while the berserk demonic bear possessed the terrifying strength of a level 1 extraordinary life form. Although the 3-meter-tall berserk demonic bear was huge, but it was extremely agile. With a berserk aura, it madly launched an attack at the female adventurer. The female adventurer with a bronze spear in hand desperately resisted and retreated at the same time. After only 2 exchanges, her body was grazed by the claws of the berserk demonic bear, and a large amount of flesh was torn off. Absolute piercing. After the female adventurer once again went all out to avoid the berserk demonic bear, her beautiful eyes flashed with a sharp glint. She barked, and the bronze spear in her hand blossomed with resplendent light. She and the spear became one, turned into a cyan stream of light, and stabbed at the berserk demonic bear's heart. In a flash, a terrifying cyan whirlpool erupted and shattered the berserk demonic bear's heart. Yang Feng looked at the spear in the hands of the female adventurer, and his eyes flashed with a scorching shade, the absolute piercing dragon spear, one of the 36 legendary secret treasures. Once activated, anything that is stabbed by the dragon spear will be pierced. I never expected that it would actually be a karma treasure. In the Eternal Continent, there were 36 legendary artifacts, each of which possessed unimaginable power. As the limit of the Eternal Continent is the legend rank, Yang Feng doesn't care much about legend rank secret treasures. When he saw the absolute piercing dragon spear, he understood that the 36 legendary secret treasures should all be secret treasures of the law of causality. Even if it was a glorious dawn warlock rank powerhouse, when stabbed by the absolute piercing dragon spear, their life force field will be easily penetrated, and they may even be pierced by the absolute piercing dragon spear. This was the terror of the Karma Law secret treasure. Yang Feng looked at the female adventurer with jealousy in his eyes, and he sighed in his heart, she's indeed a star of fate. After killing the berserk demonic bear, her life origin evolved to the level 1 warlock rank. The female adventurer with the absolute piercing dragon spear was injured all over. Gasping for breath, she sat on the ground, completely exhausted. However, with his extraordinary perception, Yang Feng could easily perceive that the female adventurer is transforming and becoming stronger and stronger. Evidently, the female adventurer has a heaven-defying ability, that is, to kill monsters and level up. It is extremely difficult for a warlock of the Zhangji plane like Yang Feng to advance. Some warlocks even spend 100 years to barely promote to an official level 1 warlock. The female adventurer just killed a level 1 warlock ranked berserk demonic bear, yet she transformed into a level 1 warlock. This is simply heaven-defying. Unfortunately, you can't promote to a level 1 warlock yet. A cold glint flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. He silently recited an incantation, cast the fate algorithm, and pointed at the female adventurer. The female adventurer's tender body trembled slightly. The injuries she had forcibly suppressed erupted, and she spat out a large mouthful of blood containing traces of internal organs. Her evolution towards the level 1 warlock rank was forcibly interrupted. Suddenly, Yang Feng felt a sharp pain in his internal organs. He covered his mouth with his hand and covered the blood he spat out. The female adventurer is a star of fate. Interfering with her fate will result in a backlash from the world's fate force. Even though Yang Feng has a pinnacle great warlock rank cultivation base, but faced with the backlash from the world's fate force, he still suffered heavy injuries. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with an untamed glint. Fate is really the most powerful force. It's very difficult, almost impossible, for anyone to reverse their fate. Is the world trying to tell me that fate cannot be reversed? Even so, I will reverse the fate of certain death for you to see. At this moment, there was a wriggling in the underbrush, and a dozen plus humanoid orcs with pig heads and human bodies walked out from the side. When the female adventurer saw the orcs, her face suddenly turned pale, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with despair. Shit, it's actually orcs. That's the worst possible situation. Orcs were humanoid orcs with pig heads and human bodies. They had a trace of human bloodline, and the offspring born from the union of members of their race were relatively weak and few in number. What they liked to do the most was to capture humans and turn them into breeding grounds for their offspring. When the female adventurer thought that she would become a breeding ground for the orcs in the future, she shuddered inside. Human woman. Great. Catch her. When the orcs saw the female adventurer, saliva dripped from their mouths, exuding a smell of danger. Greed and excitement welled up in the eyes of the orcs. They quickly ran over to this side. The female adventurer grabbed the absolute piercing dragon spear in an attempt to commit suicide. However, she discovered that severe pain was transmitted from her body, making her lose control of her body. She could only watch in despair as the orcs pounced at her. Stop! Accompanied by a furious roar, a large sword descended from the sky and slashed at the body of an orc demon, instantly splitting it into two. Yang Feng, with an elite-grade enchanted greatsword in his hand, his complexion pale, covered in dust and bleeding from the corners of his mouth, looked like an adventurer who had gone through countless hardships as he blocked in front of the female adventurer. With the enchanted greatsword in hand, Yang Feng glared at the orcs like a tiger watching its prey and shouted, "Woman, run! I can only deal with 8 of these orcs at the same time. There are too many of them." Although the orcs only had level 2 apprentice warlock rank battle prowess, but when a dozen plus orcs attacked together, the female adventurer before her evolution might not be their match. The eyes of the female adventurer flickered with a touch of emotion, and then she was shrouded in endless despair. She gritted her teeth and said, "I just killed a berserk demonic bear and broke my bones. I can't escape. If you kill me, you can take this legendary weapon, absolute piercing dragon spear, and escape alone." Yang Feng coughed heavily, and a large mouthful of blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. He squeezed out a warm smile. "Don't give up. I, Rant, won't let you die here." Due to the drawbridge effect, the female adventurer's heart skipped a beat. A lovely woman? Yang Feng grabbed the female adventurer with one hand, then roared and slashed an orc charging at him in half with a sword strike, and then leaped and fled into the depths of the forest. After them. The 2 humans are the best breeding grounds, we can't let them off. A queer rune flickered in the eyes of the dozen plus orcs, and exuding fearsome killing intent, they rushed towards Yang Feng and the female adventurer. With the female adventurer in his arms, Yang Feng desperately fled into the forest. Before long, he was covered in sweat, gasping for breath, and coughing up blood that spilled on the ground. The female adventurer sighed faintly, "Kill me. Otherwise, neither of us will be able to escape. I don't want to become a breeding ground for those ugly and disgusting monsters." Yang Feng showed a wild and handsome smile. "Shut up, woman. I, Rant, won't let you die. I am a man who will become a hero in the future. How can I die in this place?" The female adventurer said, "My name is Brigina, call me by my name. Besides, you want to become a hero? That's impossible, you're too weak. A true hero has the power to rival the demon lord. They won't be chased by a mere dozen plus orcs to such a sorry state." Yang Feng's eyes filled with hope. Even the hero isn't necessarily born with the strongest power. I will definitely become the strongest hero. The underbrush squirmed, and a dozen plus orcs rushed out and rushed towards Yang Feng and Brigina. Yang Feng displayed exquisite swordsmanship, met them head-on, and easily slayed 3 orcs with a swing of his sword. An intelligent orc leader uttered coldly, "Attack that woman. It doesn't matter if you kill her." The swine demons stabbed at Brigina with their spears. Yang Feng frantically resisted the attacks of the bristles, but his posture was distorted. After dozens of moves, a bristle stabbed his right foot and directly ran through it. The orcs rushed forward, took out rattan ropes, and tied Yang Feng and Brigina up. A queer rune streaked past the eyes of the orc leader, and he laughed loudly. "2 strong humans, haha, now our tribe will be able to give birth to stronger children." Tears welled up in Brigina's eyes, and she gritted her teeth and scolded, "You idiot, why didn't you escape? You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.